Welcome back to another episode of the Bocast. Let me just get everything squared. I'm gonna wait for everyone to get in here. But yeah, tonight's gonna be a silly episode for those of you watching the VOD of this, which I highly doubt like anyone really goes back through these, but let me I hate listening to myself on stream, sorry. Yeah, we're gonna check out the latest Idubbbz drama. So Idubbbz dropped a new video, and then H3H3 did some fucking king. Oh ho ho! Hello Ben. So cool, dude. So I hope there's like clippers for this shit, cause I'm not gonna sit through this whole thing and watch it. But basically, it keeps getting worse and worse when it comes to the Idubbbz and Issa situation. And it's really fucking funny, dude. Like, I could not believe he sunk this low. So, Ethan Klein decided, hey, I'm going to interview Idubbbz's old boxing coach, right? And his coach is very vocal on a lot of things about Ian, and he's exposing a lot of the shit behind the scenes. It's just so fucking funny. Like, Ian probably would have never envisioned these people coming together, like, years ago, shit-talking him, but here they are. They, as a collective, they just have so much dirt on him and Anissa, and, like, they're just airing it all out now, and it just keeps getting funnier and funnier. One of the funny things I heard today was, one of Ian's sparring partners, Anissa had a crush on him, right? And she would actively watch Ian get punched by him and get all cheery because she was sexually attracted to him. Just shit like that. I mean, it's like confirming what we already know and believe about the situation, but it's just, I couldn't believe he's actually sunk even lower than he already has. But I've been keeping up a lot with the Kino Casino shit too. Like, I watch it every now and again just for something to watch. And it's so funny with their insight. What are you watching today for Bocast? It's almost like I just explained that whole thing, Amador. Fuck. Oh, let me raise my bit rate. I have no problem doing that. Stream. Bitrate. Yeah. Oh, it's just capped really low. Should look better now. Oh, you just got the notification. Let me go to studio. We're gonna set this up. Make the thumbnail somewhat accurate, and then we're gonna get ready and we're gonna watch this shit. So first we're gonna watch the new Idubbbz video. Actually, I'll put that on as I do the editing because this is gonna be really fucking boring, so it's like I could just talk over it or just drone over and just let him complain. But look at this nasty fucking thumbnail. This thumbnail looks like shit. This looks like something I would make, to be quite honest. What's up, Mr. Gamer? I haven't seen you in like years. Ah, fucking ad block.
Now, thankfully for me,
this is 23 fucking minutes.
Recorded. This is just a little addendum. I think an addendum is something that you put at the end. But this is a
I like how he still has the fucking boxing bag up, even though he hates boxing.
Something that I've been struggling with for a long time on YouTube is concern trolling. The thing that I really struggle with is.
Oh, isn't that what like his whole MO? Fuck. This is his whole MO now, isn't it? Like, wasn't that the whole point of like the H3H3 video? I don't know.
Out there, and the concern trolls are concerned over the same thing. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm giving in to the concern trolls by addressing, you know.
I don't think any of these people are actually concerned about you. I think they're just clowning on you because you're pathetic at this point. No one cares about you anymore. You're just kind of an awful person.
I don't want to let the trolls inhibit my ability to communicate to my fans or people who are confused out there. So I want to talk about Creator Clash. I want to talk about the structure of the business and how it's changed over the years and just...
Business.
sort of put to
More of a
rest
money
the
laundering
lies and
operation than
myths that are out
anything,
there
but
about Anissa, about
I digress
me,
on
and about
that.
the event. My main incentive for sharing this information is that I have felt extremely handcuffed by Creator Clash these past years.
I guarantee Anissa fucking handcuffs him in the bedroom, too. That's how she pegs him.
Because
She doesn't want him to be able to fight back.
And I don't know how to convey things, not over-communicate, not do all these things that
What the fuck is going on with my stream?
event at risk and put other people at risk. And that's kind of why I wanted to step away from this event. It feels like it's inhibiting my ability, like the business.
Yeah, no, literally, everyone's just hate watching him at this point. Like, if I were Ian, right, I would just completely stop uploading at this point. Like, I don't know how long he'd have to do it for, but, like, at least for the foreseeable future, like, at least 6 months, I would not fucking show my face. The constant embarrassment and humiliation this man has been getting recently is just, part of me thinks he might hurt himself after a certain point. Especially once Anissa breaks up with him, because that's bound to happen. That's the next arc. Eventually, what's going to happen is Anissa's going to divorce him, and it's going to ruin him completely, like, even more. And he's going to want what he had back, but he'll never be able to get it. And he's going to realize how much he fucked up his own life, and I'm afraid he's going to do some bad things to himself, if you catch my drift. Yeah, she has admitted to pegging him, hasn't she? I mean, is anyone really surprised about that? So, how are you going to give tickets for Fat Guy Wrestling 2? Like, digital tickets or something? Amador, I don't want children there. No offense. I think you have to be at least, like, 18 to get into Fat Guy Wrestling. Because there's going to be a lot of not safe for work stuff there. You can watch the stream, like, all means, but there's going to be adults I know there getting, like, slam drunk, so I really wouldn't want you around that.
And effectively, especially when there's so many people counting on me to, do that well. So it's a lot of pressure, and now that Anissa and I have stepped away from it, I want to just clear the air because I don't feel that same pressure that I did when I was part of the event. If you look into charity events, they come in so many different shapes and sizes, and
you're good, Amador. I mean, I don't blame you that you want to be a part of something. Like, I was young once. I also acted a lot older than I should have online, too.
All profits go to charity. That was the business.
All profits go to charity. Besides the profits that went to the... What was it? The big ball they had at the end of it. The 34% of the revenue cut that went straight to Ian and Anissa's pocket. Which legally, apparently they were able to do whatever they wanted with that money. Even though they advertised it as a charity event. And they were legally able to take the 34%. And Ian was just like, you guys have to trust us that we're going to donate that to charity. Which is hilarious, but that's later on in the video. That's a clip I saw. She's got a history of crushing... Yeah, she crushed on Chris Raygun. That was like her... They've always had something weird. That was the whole thing with the Froggy Fresh situation, too, as well. That's like her B boyfriend. Like, Ian's like the main boyfriend, right? But that's like her side guy she always goes to, cry to. Like, that's the shoulder he cries on. And by the way, Anissa has made both of them shift towards left-wing politics as well.
Hopefully it worked out the first year. Now, some people will
Who
be
is
critical
texting
of
me?
one of the costs being parties for Creator Clash 2 and actually Creator Clash 1 because that's where we got the idea from. It was very successful for Creator Clash 1, or the event was successful. We don't know if the party worked to encourage people to promote the event, but that was the idea. You get a bunch of creators to show up to a fucking hotel the night before their fight, and they're going to post about it on social media, and the internet will be abuzz. And
where did I buy the pipe mug for Ben? I bought it off of Amazon.
A little hullabaloo before the event and after.
Sorry I'm not speaking as clearly as I normally do tonight, too. So, number one, I sparred a few hard rounds today, so I got popped in the head. But number two, I'm really tired.
But it didn't happen. Or maybe it did happen, but it just didn't sell tickets. I would cross that off my list as a learning experience of, well, if you do this strategy, you either got to force people to post about it, or you have to fucking, I don't know, not do it. You gotta make sure that people are slapping each other during the weigh-in. That's probably what I...
No, you just have to be better at fucking promoting it. He never promoted any of it, and that's part of the reason why the event for Creator Clash 2 failed so hard. So I remember when Creator Clash 1 came out, I was actually pretty hyped for it. I don't know if you guys were in the same boat as me. I mean, this is kind of gay and lame to admit now. Coney 2012. I'm not touching anything related to that if you want me to make a video on that. The channel's already on thin ice recently. I don't know if that's a great idea. Hard to believe a decade ago Ian was once beloved. Yeah, he really was. I mean, he was one of my first inspirations on YouTube. There's a lost Bojack video, and I don't know where it is now. Like, I would show it to you guys if I still had it. There's an old Bojack Content Cop ripoff from years ago, but I don't have it anymore. If you're tired, why are you streaming? Because less big numbers equals more sleep. Amador, shut the fuck up. I didn't ask for, like, a Redditor's opinion in my chat. I'm streaming because I want to do it, and it's fun. And just because I'm tired doesn't mean I'm able to go to sleep. I have insomnia.
Second Creator Clash, we used the same business model. This time we increased the budget, we had more fighters, we had a bigger arena, and more expenses in general. As a result of that, there were a lot more costs, and our ticket sales did not make up those costs. It seemed very obvious that this was not the way to run the charity boxing event. We told our business partners, we are not going to do this event again unless it can be promised to us
just posting
that there was a way
the
to
URL
money for charity. And the business model that was presented to us was what we're enacting, or what we did enact this year with Creator Clash 3. And that is, the for-profit side of the business is unincorporated with the charity aspect. So the charity partner is its own...
I said this in my last stream. I'm just so tired of YouTubers always being like, oh, this is for charity. I don't know, it's just really lame. Like, I don't care. I don't care about charity. People don't give me money for free. Especially when that money, half the time with charity, it's always a tax write-off. Hello, Barack. No way, Barack Obama's in chat. I love what you did to that hospital, dude. That was awesome.
That we sort of, like, push people...
Everyone, Google Barack Obama hospital strike if you want to know how great he was.
The confusion is that many people don't understand how charity events operate. Because, to be honest...
Yeah,
and with something like
see, the thing about Idubbbz, he will never have simps who are willing to do something like that because he has a penis.
And if you have an investor, you're able to do that. That investor is going to want...
It's so disgustingly hot and humid out today, chat.
At least gives you the initial...
I might have to go get a water soon.
Other charity initiatives...
I wish I had someone to call into the show tonight, but I don't have that luxury.
And immediately get a product, and also their money goes to charity. Those are usually big fucking conglomerates, giant companies...
Holy shit, this is boring. Creator Clash, concern trolling. Yeah, talk about the thing you titled the video for. Jesus Christ.
To do his personal attack with a joke, and then he hit me with a concern troll. From the right, there's a lot of...
Part of me wonders how Ian was ever big in the first place. Because a lot of his videos, even before he was controversial, are just fucking boring. Like, the bad unboxings were pretty funny. Like, I used to watch those a lot when I'd be editing videos back in the day. Like, this would be like 5 years ago or something like that, when I was smaller on YouTube. But outside of that, like, even then, I was like, man, Ian's not really funny when it comes to a lot of stuff. He's always been kind of like a wet blanket personality-wise. That's kind of why he needed to rely so hard on Content Cop. Because, like, the whole thing about Content Cop, it's like tearing down someone else. And it's like, you don't have to make... Like, you don't have to do that hard of an effort. How do I put this? It's not that hard to write jokes about something when it's out there in the open for you to, like, criticize. Like, when you're talking about someone like Tanamaju, or, like, someone like, who the fuck did he do Content Cops on? Like, the fast food reviewers, like, all the material was already written for him. He just had to, like, make a joke about it. Like, he didn't have to really do anything super witty. Yes, back when he did do that stuff, Mr. Gamer.
This is the most boring kind of concern
What happened to, like, Vosh being fat, by the way? What happened to that guy? No one talks about him anymore. I feel like Vosh was, like, the Hassan of, like, a few years ago, and now he's, like, falling off a bridge or something.
Dog and Tupac the concern troll.
Concern trolling. You need to address this issue, man, because you are offending the trans community. Shut up.
That is such poor concern trolling.
Lindsey Graham did a lot of concern trolling about this.
His concern trolling is empirically
Boring.
dude,
Boring,
this is
boring,
like-
boring,
Concern
boring
trolling.
compilation. How long does this go on for?
Just
Yeah, no, you could send a video. I don't know if it'll work in, like, the YouTube chat, but if you have, like, Discord or something, you can. Like, I'll watch whatever. Like, I encourage my chat. I implore you guys to send me shit, and I will watch it.
I haven't figured it out. I'll let you guys know when I figure it out. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of.
Yeah, no, the tides have turned, too. No one's really getting canceled like they used to anymore. Amador Ram question. Yes, I do have a 2DS somewhere. I'll look it up. Undertale? Alright. My whole thing with the whole, like, YouTube landscape thing, and, like, just, this is kind of society in general. I think everyone's over the whole cancel culture shit. Especially, now that Trump's in his second term. I've noticed, like, even, like, during the Biden administration, like, halfway through, I noticed so much social fatigue to, like, canceling. Hi, Dookie. Yeah, I'll just turn this fucking video off. I don't think he's gonna say anything interesting or a good point here. But I'll look up what you sent me. It doesn't seem like it's some type of weird porno, so we're good. Is this what I'm looking at? I'm looking into your soul right now for sending this to me. I'm gonna cancel you. When are you addressing the allegations, Bro Jack? Which ones? Is this like a meme? Like, I know it was like probably big back in the day, but I don't know if it's like coming back around or something. All of them. Which one specifically, Dookie? There's way too many. What do I think? I don't think much of it. I think I'd rather watch SML. To be quite honest, I think I'd rather watch Super Mario Logan. Hey, speaking of the devil, no way! The timing of that, 1, 2, 3 of them. I wasn't even getting recommended them. No freaking way. That is crazy. 5 Super Mario Logan videos on my recommended now. So part of that's from watching... 6! 6! This is technically 7! Part of it's from watching with Ben. Because whenever I'm just chilling with Ben, Ben asked me to put on Super Mario Logan. It's like Coco Melon for him. And if I turn it off, he legitimately gets mad at me. Let's see if there's like H3 clippers or something. That's a fat fucking cat. The West has fallen. Here's Navrat. This is the guy I used to troll online. I made a reference to him in like 1 or 2 videos, calling him like gross. He used to not do ASMR. He used to do like just tech stuff, and like people used to just harass the shit out of him to the point where he'd delete every YouTube channel he had. And like one time he deleted a YouTube channel because he made something about a mouse, and it was literally a comment I made on the YouTube channel where I said he's touched that mouse more times in this video than he's touched a woman in his life. But let's go see if we can find H3 clips, maybe. Is there a clips channel for them? Because I really hope that they clipped what came out today, because... No. Because I really don't want to shift through this podcast unless there's fucking timestamps of this. Yeah, Vosh might come on my channel icon. I forgot about that. I think I was making a video on Vosh at some point, or like I scrapped it. It was like a documentary or something. And I had that joke written out regarding Tom's ticket. So that's when his boxing coach came in. This shit is pretty funny. I was seeing some clips of this on Twitter, and it was cracking me up. Ian saw that his old boxing coach was, like, coming on to the H3 show, and he was, like, having a borderline panic attack about that. Like, he started texting the guy, and then the guy took a screenshot of the text and sent it to Ethan for, like, him to post on Twitter. But... So, I guess Ethan's comparing the numbers of that Cameron kid we were talking about last stream to Idubbbz, and I guess he's, like, mogging him numbers-wise, even though he's so much smaller. Which, I don't know, that kid's content, like, he's definitely profiting, like, hard off the situation. Like, his content is kind of boring, in my opinion. Like, especially considering, like, outside of that, he only makes, like, Yandere Dev and, like, FNAF videos, but let's just watch... from here, I guess.
Horizontal again. Maybe we'll fix. Yeah.
If you go,
or maybe it has rotate. Oh, there you go.
there we go.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you. There it is.
Volume, good chat.
Harley, you here? Can you hear me?
Harley, you're muted.
I like how, you know what? I was thinking about this today. As much as I don't like Ethan, like, I used to really like him. Like, back in the day, and I'm kind of happy that he's having a little bit of a redemption arc. Like, it shows even a broken clock... I can't speak. Even a bloke... I need water. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Could you check out, who is this guy? What platform is he streaming on? Who are these goobers you're telling me to go look at? This is just some fucking random guy. Why do you want me to look at this random guy's stream of looking at Idubbbz?
Or people who got called on like me too. You can look this up. It's
oh.
happened. And they'll just be like, well,
I see you in chat here too.
this is the evidence, quite literally, saying like, and then they just immediately start calling it.
He's a red.
No, I don't really know, because like I've been seeing like other stuff like this, and based off of like what fucking Destiny has said
You jumped me.
before, I don't know, like I'm not gonna use like some other. What do you mean? Like I don't necessarily.
It's like I'm on a FaceTime call. We're both live streaming. We're looking into each other's souls.
Because you're just a sycophant to Destiny. Crazy.
I think 3 times now.
Yeah, I'm not that passionate about this drama.
I mean, I get it. I just can't recall it easily. So,
What does he have pinned up top? Yu-Gi-Oh links, Pokemon calculator, Linux files. Ah, this is telling me everything I need to know about this person. Victini. Victini the Pokemon sexually assaulted someone? What is he looking at? Manitex, Colorado. How J.K. Rowland helped.
Shouting match is more an accurate buzzkill. Like, we're familiar with these types of people. They're just constantly reeling people in because they're worried.
Alright, well, I'm done looking at that.
oh, can you hear me?
Harley, everybody.
Hey.
We sure can, buddy.
Hey. Yeah.
Harley's looking kind of fresh with that
Now,
cut.
Harley actually put me in touch with
His nose looks a little big, though.
with these guys. And
I wonder
how do you
why.
connect? Kind of Michael, Kate, and Harley. You guys were in touch, right?
Well, I know them from Creator Clash, actually. That's how I met them. And I never saw.
How
them
easy
play
is it
Michael.
for
He
Ben to
said
forgive me
beat
for
up all the
something?
coaches.
Oh, he
I'll tell
forgives
my
me for
coach
shit
to
all
see
the
about
time.
that. I don't know. He's not going as hard as you do every day, but I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen Michael. He's a beast.
Yeah. I don't know where he gets all that energy. You know, I'm not a morning person, so someone like Michael would piss me off. I feel like he's good to go first thing in the morning.
All right. Let's go to like when they're talking.
All the meetups with all the YouTubers, even small interviews with like Eric, who also fought on CC1. So I have a ton of content, and Ian promised us that he was going to put out this documentary that was going to share the journey of how Michael took this,
Yeah, they never did anything with the
junior
footage
and
they
turned
shot
him
of Creator
into
Clash,
a
huh?
boxer. And so that's how
Stop having me look up randoms. No, I don't care. Who are these people? Let me look it up. This is the last one. If it's something stupid, I'm not looking up another one for a little bit. Ah, fuck. You made me lose my place in the video. Oh, I thought this was someone streaming. My bad. I'll watch this. I'm sorry. It takes a lot to make me laugh, guys. Go back to the stream. Alright, it saved our place.
When they first came to us. And so I was super psyched that this is going to be a way for me to help build my husband's brand and also put the work out there. But it never came through. And so when he most recently put that video out saying that he told a big lie.
Chat, is this
he was
real?
never going to put out a documentary, and all he has is a ton of 4K videos of him doing stupid shit or something like that. It was actually very
That's your footage that you.
I think he's just lazy, to be quite honest.
Yeah, 3 years of filming.
Wow.
Yeah, well, yeah. Before the CC1 was filmed the year.
It was 10 months, yeah.
Was he paying you at the time, or like what? How was he compensating you?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
So I do want to say that, like, for dynamic filming, I usually charge $150 an hour for dynamic filming. But because I was under the impression that this is going to charity, me and Michael, you know, would always.
So she shot like a bunch of free footage
so,
for them.
Example, instead of charging
Then
him $150 an hour, I would
didn't
charge
get
him $100
anything
an
out of
hour.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And by the way, I've heard that from other professionals now. I'm starting to hear people say that who, like one of the announcers put out a video recently. Maybe you guys saw it. He was like, Wade?
What?
Yeah.
What are you?
He was like, they
what are you,
offered
Brock?
me a
No.
salary
What are you
or
sending
stand
me?
for me payment, but I declined it because
I'm fine with you derailing the stream, but it's gotta like, it's gotta have like a reason for me watching it.
Not rich, by the way, and gave it to all the fucking creators. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were also promised a bonus on CC1, and we never got it. But because Michael was so nice, he didn't want to, like, make Ian feel uncomfortable and ask Ian and Nisa about it. I was pretty upset by it, and I thought it wasn't fair because how is it that we put on this great event, we raised $1.3 million for charity, and he promised us a bonus, and then right after the event, he just kind of pretend like he's too busy to check in with us, you know? And then we...
After the event, like, once the event ended, I didn't see him again for about 5 months. So, because he was working with Dax on some show, and so he never trained.
Oh, Dax
so
Flame.
The only 8 times that Ian ever actually trained was...
Zach Scott Games? Yeah,
I
back
trained
in
him
the
from
day.
July until May, and then I didn't see him again pretty much for several months. And then he started training again to fight Alex. Pretty much we started at, like, the end of December. And then that's when, like, they had to kind of get serious with the camp because they realized, like, Alex was training hard.
4 months.
So really, I only had 10 months with him to begin with, and then about 4+ months with him for the second event, and then I've never seen him again since then.
That's crazy.
You know, I was talking to AD.
Fucking uses and loses people.
The boxers at least gave their coaches
use and discard,
especially because you were there. You were.
That's a very narcissistic trait, by the way.
It seems like you guys were both like super involved in this event.
Yeah, one of the reasons he was even able to kind of connect with Manny Pacquiao's people who hooked him up with.
He connected the fucking Manny Pacquiao's people. Who the fuck in their right mind let him network with them?
like one of our connections, our friend Eric, ran into a guy in a bar in Vegas, and that was the guy.
No, we're not. I'm not gonna shit on Ben Schwartz on stream.
So we were able to get them connected with the people that.
I only do that with him here.
So we were literally there from the. I was there from the beginning for everything.
So that's, you guys had a really unique point of view where you had like a front row seat to everything.
Yeah.
It seemed like you were with them intimately more than probably anyone else involved in this event. So there's all these interesting little details that you guys shared with me.
twitches.
For example, one being that I think it was you, Kate, that mentioned that he and Anissa did in fact pay for Hassan and all of his compadres to travel to and stay at
It is so
Clash
fucking
2.
hot in this room right now. You guys don't
So
understand.
We were talking about that long before about how they.
I kind of want to turn my fan on, but it's gonna sound like shit on
First of all, they
stream.
rented the hotel for over 300 creators, and flew a lot of them in. When the first year it was much more scaled back. We just had a couple floors of like some place, like a nice suite place, but it wasn't extravagant at all. And then the second year, they did that full hotel for 300 creators. They flew a lot of people in. One of the people they flew in was Froggy Tonic, and they flew him in from France.
That's insane.
And Froggy had told us that he was there to salvage the documentary.
Yeah.
And that was super offensive to us because we're like, what do you mean salvage the documentary? And he said his job was to go around and like film Anissa.
I've never seen Brody TV. I don't know who that is. Are you having any more passion projects like Fat Guy Wrestling? I mean, I'm trying to. It's just hard recently. We got 13 viewers. I'll continue watching
So
this.
we didn't know if that meant they were going to make the second documentary about how, or the actual documentary about how, like.
I need
Anissa
timestamps
was
for this shit.
responsible for the event, because she did
I would
put a lot
just
of
go
work
on
into the
Twitter,
first event,
but
and she did a lot of working for the second, but at the same time, in the
Twitter
first
on
event, they paid for
desktop's
it, so
fucking
she
with
felt
my
like
account
she
right now and it
deserved
won't
all
let me
the
log
credit.
in.
So I think that's why they paid Froggy Tonic to come film her and follow her around for the second event. But yeah, they flew in a lot of people.
Of course they fucking timestamp something boring.
Creators. And
See if
when
we
they
can
actually
find
asked
something
them
good.
if Ian's dad was going to be there because he was there for the first event. They said they couldn't afford to fly Ian's dad in.
They couldn't afford to fly Ian's own father to the event?
I know. It's
Well, you know what though?
pretty sad. And,
They talk about this. I don't know if they talk about this on the stream. I forget where I heard this. Oh no, they talk about it here. So, I did see a clip on Twitter where Ian was getting upset at his coach because his coach yelling at him reminded him of his father abusing him as a kid or something like that, which explains so much about him currently because he's very resentful for his father, who probably, I don't know, Ian seems like a little shit, so his father, he could have been abusive. We don't know for certain, but like his father probably disciplined him when he was doing like something wrong, and maybe he over-disciplined him or something, but anyways, Ian harbored that throughout his whole life, which caused him to take a woman's last name instead of his family's. But anyways, let's continue.
For CC2, and
We got 16 viewers right now. What's up, chat?
Content of Ian sparring, and I said yes. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this documentary, but it never came out. So I heard that you're taking it over now. And you're gonna help with the editing. And that's when Froggy Tawny told me that, yeah,
17.
Ian and Issa brought out his whole crew from France.
His whole crew?
Just him.
Well, he had a few people that
So
were-
Froggy Tonic's like this weird like socialist commie. Oh, what's up, Emerald Wizard? I know he's fucking here. Get him away. Deport Amador. Froggy Tonic. So I don't really know much about this person, but he's like some like absolute freak. Oh no, this is the guy who was saying that shit about Ethan on Twitter. That's what it was. Yeah, look at him. Look at this dapper fellow. He's dressed up like a fucking Street Fighter character.
Guys, because the interesting thing was that usually when like someone is a videographer, they would be the one filming most of the time. But it was interesting to me that
He was just directing?
Yeah, he was more directing.
This fucking guy thinks he's Spielberg?
Scorsese.
What the hell's going on?
Camera people with him that were
Check out Cheeto Dust on Ma Balls
But I do remember
and
for a
Scratch.
fact that he had told us that he was flown in.
Stop suggesting me like retarded things to look
We were
up.
just offended by that because we were like,
I will start ignoring you.
And then him saying that he had no idea.
I'm legally American because of the land of soil.
I had taken him from like 140 pounds as like never played a sport a day in his life. 10 months later, he ends up fighting Dr. Mike in front of over 10,000 people with 100,000.
Idubbbz was 140 pounds starting out at 6'2".
And then he tries to, and he literally took interviews with everyone before the fights, after the fights. He got all the coaches to interview. And then he said he had no way to make the documentary. So I was just like, how can you not
he
know?
probably just poorly planned the footage.
Everybody made a documentary.
Like, I've done that before, like when I've recorded something and I got overly ambitious. I didn't really know what to do with the footage. But eventually you can figure out to do something. Oh, that's good. What type of ice cream did you have? I haven't eaten ice cream in fucking months, dude, with my new diet.
What the fuck?
I weighed myself today. I weigh just under 200 pounds. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to gain weight, guys. Like, look at me.
And it would always drive me crazy because I could tell Ian wasn't really proud of his work.
The issue is if I fight, I'm going to have to fight at light heavyweight.
It was very hard to get Ian to train because he doesn't like boxing. He doesn't like boxing.
Well, that seems to be
I never wondered why he, like...
a sticking point.
That was a retarded sentence, my bad. I never understood why Ian would want to box if he doesn't like boxing. Like, if you don't like the sport of boxing, why would you do something like that? It's so physically hard and grueling to do. As someone who doesn't compete in combat sports, but trains it, it's like, you go into the gym, and most of the days, I get my ass fucking kicked. I get my ass handed to me by other people in the gym. And you have to fucking force yourself to go in that environment over and over again. And then eventually you'll start seeing progress. But it takes lots of dedication and time. And you can't quit. Otherwise, you'll never get good. Like, and what I mean by you can't quit, you can't give up like 1 week and go back. Like, you have to just keep staying consistent to show any sort of progress.
Yeah.
Like,
So
you
I
have
would
to
try
go
make
back
that
like
box
consistently within the weeks, like several times a week.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's why it was as traumatic as it was for him as well, because he was dealing with like a lot of trauma and a lot of issues when we were in our boxing sessions. And don't get me wrong,
Taking
I'm
trauma
happy
into
with
the
a lot of
gym
fighters
and
in
not
general,
using it.
because fighting's a very hard, whether you're fighting MMA, boxing, whatever, it's very hard because you're getting beat up constantly, and then you're supposed to show up to the gym the next day and the next day and the next day. AB can attest to it, right? So it's mentally very hard. So I did feel bad for him because I could tell his heart wasn't into it. So then to be into something like that your heart's not into, that's why I didn't see him once the first event ended. We didn't see him again for several months. And I told him, hey, come in once or twice a week, train for fun, make it fun for yourself. Because when you're in a fight camp, it's not really fun. You just have to keep training.
Right.
But then...
By the way, in his second fight, he got absolutely dominated by Alex Wasabi. And let's be real, both of those guys probably could have finished Ian if they wanted to, but there had to be like a no finish clause in the contract or something like that. What are you saying, Amador? Why? The 4th of July is like a month away, Amador. I don't know what I'm doing then.
And he never came back. And then so I was like, oh, wow, he really doesn't like boxing. And then he did an interview with Anthony, or the guy from Smosh, and he was talking about boxing, and I was just like, oh, he doesn't like boxing at all, and he's making it like public now the way he was talking about it. And then even in the video where he's trying to promote Creator Clash 3, he said, oh, all I have is 4K footage of me going, and it's like, that's called boxing training, Ian.
That's what boxing looks like.
Yeah, that's literally what you're doing. And then if you notice after he walked out of the third event and stepped away, he goes, I'm through with this boxing shit. I've been doing it for 4 years. And I was like, well, wait a minute. You trained for 10 months for the first fight. You took 6 months off. You trained 4 months for the second fight. And then you never came back to boxing again for over a year. So I'm like, how are you sick of boxing? Like, you obviously hate boxing. So, yeah, so it was hard for me as a coach to just get him to train. Also, like, half of the sessions, we'd have to train in
the whole, like, Ian hating boxing thing, that just tells you that it was Anissa who forced him into that situation. I mean, we all saw what happened under that bridge with Sam Hyde. when he was recording the Sam Hyde documentary, where Sam took him under the bridge and just bullied him in a sparring match. But it seemed like that really was the catalyst for Ian getting into boxing. But that was probably Anissa's doing behind the scenes, telling him to do it, to like improve his image and make him look macho or something like that. But also, it's like, I think Anissa gets off on humiliating him. I think that's like part of the sexual thing they have between the two of them. Like the way she discloses like embarrassing information about him at an alarming rate. I think she's really into that. But that's just a hypothesis. The Asian lady's just sitting there adding nothing to the conversation. Woman moment.
So every session, instead of being
just like Jenny. No, we're not insulting Jenny in my chat, Amador. I fucking love Jenny.
Yeah.
I would never say anything mean about Jenny.
Ian goes along with it, right? Because I feel like if Ian would have said, "Hey, no, I need the time to train," it might have been different. But he's just like, "Oh no, she needs to train before I train."
But she didn't even fight. She wasn't even fighting.
No. And so literally.
You guys know why Anissa did not fight in the Creator Clashes, by the way? So, according to her own account, that she said she sparred too hard, giving herself concussions continuously, which caused her not to fight, obviously, because she didn't want to take brain damage. But the thing is with that, to get concussed in sparring, you have to be a legitimate fucking retard. Okay, you have to be sparring like a moron. You have to be sparring super hard, and then you're either not protecting yourself properly, or your sparring partners are blasting you for you blasting them. There's no reason that would be happening.
Literally, in like the training footage, half of the sessions I had with them would be with her, and then she would come in with like all sorts of drama to the gym. One day she was super dramatic, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" And she related
treating the gym like a therapy session
to somehow Ian having to defend her online.
No fucking way. No way. How can you say something like that with a straight fucking face? Number one, you have nowhere near the relevance of them. But number two, that's just like, what is your own self-importance that you think that? That's so funny.
And I'm like, I can't even train.
21 viewers. I know, we're popping off tonight.
So that was
give me a sec. Give me a sec.
I never really found that like Will Smith shit funny, but
yeah.
I guess normies do.
She came in
I'm not a big like celebrity person. Like I don't keep up with the Diddy shit.
She's on the slapper side, right? Like she was empathizing with Will.
She felt like she felt like Will was Ian.
Gicky Gackers, what's up, Pink?
Yep.
I almost called you Pink Tree.
The people that insult her.
I think I'm minorly dyslexic, guys.
Wow.
And so,
I definitely have dyscalculia.
I'm not putting this.
I do it with numbers mainly, but sometimes every now and again words jumble.
Most famous.
I just went down.
Yeah. And again,
that's okay. It's natural, man.
It's not your guys, but it is an interesting analogy, right? For them to be idolized, because Jada famously had an affair with her son's friend. You know, so I wonder if that's how they relate more so than the slapping. You know,
I really need water, but I don't want to leave.
Psychology here, psychology, and
I don't want to leave the room right now.
In Los Angeles.
I got a couple questions actually.
Why is there?
Harley, what's up?
Why the fuck is Bo Blacks behind Ethan? Does anyone know the lore behind that? Why is there a Bobby behind him?
In Los Angeles.
I got a couple.
I'm way out of the commentary loop.
Harley, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Please, by all means, chime in anytime.
Harley was sitting there like a bump on a log, not saying anything for a fat minute. Oh, he's turning into DJ Keemstar.
Oh.
Yeah. Harley, say the N-word.
Did you guys get any paperwork, by the way? Did you guys sign contracts? The fighters had contracts.
Harley's about to date a girl fucking 20 years younger than him.
No, we never had a contract.
No.
Oh, interesting, because that would have been like something that would have detailed.
By the way, funny story about Keemstar, guys. So one of my friends, I will show you her. She has a YouTube channel. She used to stream on Twitch. Her name used to be Candy Holic. She used to be she would stream Crunker. And this is how I found her. So Keemstar one night, in the middle of the night, it was like 12 o'clock. He tweeted out her stream saying like friendly raid or something like that. And he joined her chat and then joined her Discord. And then I saw that and I see this like girl just playing Crunker and I go in there and I start trolling her. And I become friends with her. But like Keemstar like was low key trying to like slide in with like my friend who was 18 at the time. Like I'm sure he didn't know her age, but she like clearly looked young. And now this girl is, like, a big social media influencer. Like, not, like, super big or anything like that. I mean, physically big, yeah, she's gotten kind of big. That's just me fucking with her. She'll know that's a joke. Hopefully. But, this is her now. She's got a lot of followers. And, this is her, like, YouTube channel. She posts, videos about her cars. She's a car girl. So, like, you know... If you like women's car content, I guess you can go there. But back to the stream.
You know, like what, like, I mean, did they, I guess by word they told you it was charity and they didn't ever.
Right.
I'm not a big nerd book film enjoyer, but I might end up watching that with my friends. I'm more of a DC guy than a Marvel. Like, I could stand that more, so maybe I'll watch that.
There was no bonus because even though he told me there was a bonus, he then disappeared for 6 months and I never saw him. So I was like, was there a bonus or was there not a bonus?
And you confronted about that? You asked them, or you didn't want to
I just let it be.
Because I'm the same way, by the way. I never spoke about money with Creator Clash. I have a guy on my team that does that. I wanted to not talk about money, and plus it's awkward when it's a charity thing. You're like, I don't want to. Am I gonna ask for money?
Yep. Right.
Yeah, and it's awkward when it's your fighter and then you have to train him for a whole nother event. And I mean, truthfully, like a lot of times fighters will say they're gonna pay a coach and then not pay a coach, so that happens sometimes. So truthfully, unfortunately, I'm used to that, right? Where they're like, oh, there's more money coming in, and then the more money coming in just goes to them. So you get used to that as a coach, but I am under the assumption that the first event did all go to charity. And then the second event was supposed to go to charity.
I highly doubt that. I mean, the way they handled this event and the second event, so the second event, they somehow were $500,000 in the hole. I don't know how they did that. I don't know how they miscalculated everything that bad, but again, I've never thrown an event, so like I don't know what that entails. But they still had the big galas and everything in the balls after Creator Clash where they had all these comedians coming. They were paying comedians $20,000 to show up. They were getting all these like e-celebrities there. Like apparently Anissa was all excited to mingle and mangle with people like Pokimane and like the big streamers like that. Like the brand safe people who are like slightly left leaning. Because she wanted to use them because she's a little clout goblin to like piggyback and like monkey branch to them.
But instead,
steal some of their viewers and steal their notoriety. Funny enough, I don't think Anissa on her own has ever had any sort of notoriety in her life. She's just known as Idubbbz' whore girlfriend.
I have no idea how an event after the fight will generate money for the fight.
Well, so that's it. In his most recent video of concern trolling, in the beginning, he says he's explaining how they lost money in the second one, and he goes, the event before the boxing was to promote it, and that sounds reasonable and normal. But I don't think he even mentioned the fact that there was a massive gala after the fight where Anissa got to play as MC and give out awards and shit.
MC.
So we actually didn't even know about the gala until.
Yeah, Anissa likes to be front and center when things are going right, but like when things are going wrong for Ian, she fucking likes to hide. She's like the ostrich. She sticks her head in the sand.
Maybe less than a week before the event.
She only takes credit for things when there's something positive going on.
Training partners, and they were on the email list.
Like what the fuck? I'm sorry, but like what has Anissa actually done? Like for Creator Clash 1, what did she ever do to make that event successful? She didn't fight. She didn't promote it. She wasn't out there like on a microphone or anything. What was her involvement in that? Besides like behind the scenes stuff. Like what did she do? everything I've heard about Anissa, from what I've seen and watched, it was an unmitigated disaster every time she was involved. She's entitled, she's a bitch, she's hard to work with, and she's just not very intelligent.
A gala, and I assume they were talking about the.
Have you watched or heard of a movie called Rocky?
It was much smaller. It was on a way smaller scale.
I'm fucking losing brain cells to stream, Amador. And it's not just you, it was Mr. Barack Obama, but my fucking head hurts.
What are you talking about? Then they're like, what? You're gonna wear sweatpants to a gala? You're crazy. And I was like,
first year, it was like the first year was like a little party thing. It was like a Sweet 16 vibe,
which is
with
all
little,
you need.
Like,
It's
game set up. Yeah,
we
so
had
totally,
Super Smash Brothers set up. It was in the hotel both years.
That sounds great.
It was much more casual, but if you dressed for that, like I was told specifically to dress nicely for the gala, that there would be pictures and such.
Yeah, we found out it was a red carpet event that they flew Getty Images in for. So they
Getty Images?
Getty Images to take pictures.
You can employ them? I didn't know that. I thought they just took photos.
Go ahead, sorry.
I didn't know you could like do that for an event.
And I said, hey, is there a gala? And they said, oh, you guys.
I thought like Getty Images was just like a branding thing. Like I thought like it was just a website that they uploaded them to. I didn't know it was an actual company.
Got invited. And she said, I don't know how they got on that list. They weren't supposed to be on the list. And in my mind, I'm like, Ian.
I'm sorry for case of losing your brain cells. It's okay, Amador.
Disgusting human being she seems to be. I'm sorry.
Oh, she didn't want any of us there. She only wanted like creators there or people that would, I guess, make her feel like she could get more clout. So she told us we didn't have to come to the event.
That's so fucking scummy and shitty, especially if someone's been working with you for months.
And she said, and it's a award show.
And let's be real, this coach right here, he's the only reason Ian didn't die in that ring. Like, he's the only reason Ian didn't get flatlined or embarrass himself even more so than he already did.
He said there are awards for the boxing. And I said, why wouldn't his
coach... And also, like, coaches can only do so much. Like, like, the majority, like, I'd say 65% of it is on the fighter and the rest of it's good coaching.
Yeah, I said, did you bring a suit for it? And all had freaking, like,
the reason I say that is the fighters have to put in the work. Well... Like, part of it is just natural athleticism, which Ian clearly does not have. I mean, he never had the making of a varsity athlete. Look at him.
Excluding you guys.
I know why. I honestly believe that the reason why Ian and Nisa excluded us...
They excluded them because she's Asian!
...to know about the gala is because we're both very professional, we're both very direct, and very transparent.
Different reasoning.
They told us that they were going to throw a huge gala after the tt and it was going to cost a ton of money. We would have asked them, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
because Anissa already told us
it was supposed to be for charity.
Prior to CC2, like a month before, that they were negative, was it 500K already?
Yeah, at the time.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, that's important.
Say that again. Say that again.
$500,000.
$500K before the event.
They're negative a whole house.
So going up to the event with the ticket sales and the PPV sales, when the event started, they knew they were down $500,000.
Keep in mind that they moved to a bigger.
Part of me wonders how much those two still have in the bank, because I feel like she wouldn't be with him if he didn't have money still.
So the reason we found this out was because I wanted Ian to start doing 2 training sessions a day, and I said, Ian, you need to start doing 2-a-days. And he was like, why should I do 2-a-days? And I told him, I was like, Ian, you're not good at boxing, man. My brand is at stake. So you need to do 2-a-days. That's what pro boxing.
Damn, he sucks so bad. His coach was fucking embarrassed.
Did you say that to him?
That's how I feel with my coach, though. Like, I'm not bad at Muay Thai or anything, but sometimes I just feel like an embarrassment to him. Like, I'm trying, but, like, he's asked me if I wanted to fight before. Like, not me, like, specifically, but he tells us, like, hey, I could get you a fight with someone of, like, a same, like, skill level as you. But I keep declining doing anything of the such because I don't want to get fucked up. Like, I really don't, because I'm not that good and I make a lot of mistakes, and I would never put myself into like an actual fight with someone when someone's trying to hit me with intent without being completely confident in my ability, which clearly Ian was not confident in his abilities to fight.
The line. I said, you can go back to YouTube. My whole life is fighting and coaching fighters. And I'm like, so if you don't have a good performance, that's going to look bad on me. after the first
It really
event,
did. I
he
remember
was
everyone was
saying
clowning
he
his
was
coach
doing
after the
cardio.
event, saying
So
his
that's why
coach
he
was
ended
like a
up backing
fucking
out so
pad
bad.
princess.
And I truthfully believe if
They
he
were
was
comparing him to a
doing
cardio
that, he
kickboxing
would've
coach.
won that fight.
But this guy,
But
like,
they
from
couldn't
what I
do
looked
cardio
into, he
because
seems like a
10 weeks
legitimate
before
boxing
the
coach,
first
and he
event,
just had the
Anissa
misfortune
wanted
of,
them to
like,
buy a house.
taking Ian's
So
money and
instead of
trying to
doing
help
free
him
training sessions
and do
at
a
that
cool
point,
event.
they had to cut out training to go look to buy a house. And he moved into his new house the week before we left to Florida. So he literally wasn't training like he was supposed to for that whole first event because they wanted to go buy a house when they could have just.
Then what is the
rented a
point
place
of
for
him
6
having a
months
fucking
or a
heavy
year.
bag behind him, by the way? In all of his recent videos, he has that heavy bag behind him, like he's doing something with it, but clearly he's not using it. Like, he doesn't like boxing. Why is it there? Why does Ian have this prop? Hold on, let's take a look at this. I'm still wondering this. I was wondering this earlier tonight when we were watching the fucking boring-ass video Ian put out. Let's see. Idubbbz. That is an expensive bag behind him, too. Like, I don't know how much that bag costs. We will look it up on stream, but it's not cheap. I mean, it's too expensive to just have sitting around collecting fucking dust. Title boxing. Heavy bag. Motherfucker. Let's see. That's probably equivalent. So that's a $300 bag. I mean, he's definitely has the money, so it's like he's not hurting for it or anything, but that's $300 wasted there for something you're not passionate about.
They would lie? Why would he lie? That's like lying to your doctor.
It made no sense because he acted like I told him to do things because I wanted him to do them, and I really wanted him to do things because that would help him win the fight.
Yeah.
So when I told him, hey, you
Dumbass.
need to do this, he'd be like, and then not really.
It's like a little kid lying to their dentist about brushing their teeth.
What do you mean he didn't realize how important cardio is? That's like the entire thing. Yeah, that's everything. That's the whole.
I don't know how you can compete in any combat sport and not realize cardio is important. Whether it's jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, sambo, wrestling, cardio is the most important thing. The second you do any sort of physical, like martial art, when you first get into whatever training you're doing, like for me, like kickboxing, that shit is so tiring. I don't know how, if you're going into an event like that, you would not train cardio. I don't know why you wouldn't either. It is the most crucial thing to train. Because the thing is, you could be more technical than someone all you want, but the second you gas out, you're going to fight like shit. And then not only that, when you gas out, you're more likely to get injured because you're going to start dropping your hands and you're not going to defend yourself well.
Thing.
It literally is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And so,
you know, hearing all this, it strikes me as ironic because he was always, and Anissa, going on about how they hold boxing in such high esteem and they want everyone to train and this is life or death. This is serious. You get in the ring and people die in the ring. And and hearing him speak so loftily.
Yes, I
and
played Plants
respectfully
vs.
about
Zombies,
boxing,
Amador.
But then hearing he's like, oh yeah, no, I lied to my trainer about running. It's like, what?
yeah.
Running
I feel
fucking
like a lot
sucks,
of
though.
that
I don't
was them
blame him for not
regurgitating
wanting
what
to
I
do
would
it,
say.
but
A lot of
again,
it, when I would tell them things about boxing, they would go repeat those things. I don't know how much of it was like them actually believing it. But so for that second event, so I tell him he needs to do 2-a-days. This is like 2 weeks before the fight. I'm like, we need to do your 2-a-days. And I said, my brand is at stake. Well, he went and told Anissa that I told him my brand was at stake. So the next day she comes into the gym super mad and she's like, our brand is at stake. We're $500,000 in the hole right now. And we're like,
there's no way. First off, even when they're putting on like both creator clashes that like actually did happen, their reputation was already tanked. They couldn't really go much lower, yet they still found a way to somehow tank it even more. But they burned the one community that supported them, and I still don't know why.
completely.
They're
Well,
fucking
and that's the thing.
stupid.
They said you guys didn't promote enough, but they weren't honest about the fact that they were spending the money from the ticket sales on the hotel, on flying people in, on all these other things. So it was just like,
So those decisions, the gala decisions, were made while in the red.
yes,
That's very-
yeah.
I have a question about that.
That's the way you do business,
She
guys.
was like, we're already down 500,000. And she still had time to
They
cancel stuff
so
when she said
realistically, they should have known from the ticket sales they had that that arena was completely unnecessary. Because I believe for Creator Clash 2, they only had 200. I mean, not 200. 2,500 people show up, if I'm not mistaken. So they filled up 1/4 of the arena. And that's not bad for an event like that. But the first one it filled the arena to capacity. I think Amelia Arena is probably like 14,000 people, maybe 20,000, but they filled it to capacity. All I know is they did not fill it to capacity the second time, and there's a lot of open seats. And they could have gotten a smaller arena and ran a more successful event.
that. Like, how before the event was that?
Yeah. I mean, it was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks.
And honestly, a smaller arena in a situation like that,
Yeah.
like, it would have been crazy. The vibes in there would have been insane because more people would be compact together, and then the cheers from the crowd would be nuts.
Spending.
We wanted that award.
It'd be great for the fighters, at least.
Really wanted to have
Be
that
pretty
award.
good for the
Speaking
broadcast,
about
too.
awards, once again, you had heard, like, Ian said he didn't want to have the fight just end and have everybody go home the next day. That
He
was
said,
depressing.
I'll quote him because it's very rich.
His
He
whole
said,
life's depressing. That's life.
Afterwards, he woke up and
You do a
everybody
cool
was gone,
thing and then
he
it's
found it
over.
super
Like,
depressing
you don't
because
do it
he didn't get a
anymore.
chance to process
Like,
his
shit
life.
like that sucks, right? But, like, that's just part of being an adult. Like, you do a cool thing. It's like, okay, I got to move on to the next facet of my life.
Trauma, which seems a little bit hyperbolic, frankly, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's like a self-inflicted charity event. I wouldn't call that exactly I wouldn't put that up with maybe fighting in a war. I don't know, but but I guess we all define trauma differently. But so he goes. So in that case, I wanted to throw a party afterwards where we could all talk to each other and process our trauma. And then he says, we lost money, but I don't regret throwing the after party.
Yeah, he said
I think that was a lot of her words, because he would say things that she would say, and so for example, he said, "Well, we thought inviting Hassan and all those other people was gonna
Look at him
translate to
chowing
more,
down.
Buys, pay-per-view buys."
And they didn't even promote. They didn't even care.
My whole thing with being associated with people like Hassan, when you're doing a charity event, why would you associate with someone so controversial? When, first off, people who follow Hassan, I don't think there's much crossover from people who follow Hassan and people who watch MMA or watch combat sports. There just isn't. The only reason Hassan fans would support the event or go to the event financially is if Hassan's told them to or if he showed up in person. So what they did, they made their event controversial by associating with someone like that. And then it pulls away people who are more moderate or don't agree with Hassan's politics. And when you're running a charity event, you want it to be as neutral as possible. I wouldn't be pulling up fucking Alex Jones to a charity event, even if I think the guy's funny. That's just common sense.
No, it made no sense to me. I'm like, people don't watch fights because Denzel Washington's in the crowd. They're not
Right.
Denzel Washington's there. I need to
Pretty
watch
much
the
just
fight.
what I said.
Right.
It makes no sense. And if they would have taught, so a lot of decisions before the first event, they spoke with us about, because I know boxing. I've been around boxing my entire life. So I'm like, oh, I could help them with all these other things. And then for the second event, I felt like they wanted to make it much more
By the way, boxing is just
their
such
own
a
version
limited
of a
and
Twitch
boring
con,
sport,
their own
man.
version of a VidCon.
That's what he said.
I don't know why anyone would
Yeah.
watch boxing over a sport like MMA.
And we are new to the YouTube world. We never been to a VidCon. And she's like, you guys haven't been before, but it's super cool where all these famous YouTubers come and everybody gets to vibe out. And so I was
Vibe
just
out.
Like, is this like Comic-Con?
The worst people
Yeah,
use
she
that
was really
word.
mad the first year that because she would always talk about a certain group of people. It was somebody named Pokimane and all these other people.
Pokemon.
Talk about how she wants them to be there and she wants to be a part of their group. So a lot of it, and then so that's why and then the first year was during that girl's birthday party. So
No, sorry. Knowing that detail, it breaks my heart that she had to settle for denims.
Yeah.
Denims is my favorite trans streamer, by the way.
I mean,
I'll say this about Denims. She passes very well for a male to female.
The only people I really know in the YouTube world is you guys, because you guys were so nice to us. Like, we got more clout from being on your show than we ever did from working with Ian, because he would never show any of the work we did. He would never, and then everybody else, it drove me crazy. Like, AB would shout out his coach, Wale, Lucky Boy, and then
AB was AB was.
You know what's kind of crazy about AB too? I don't know if a lot of you guys know this story, but AB became an employee for Ethan because he made a video defending Ethan like years ago against a video that was made on Ethan. It was titled Video Vigilante H3, and it was made by Gokanaru. And it was a big thing. It was a big hit piece. It was one of the first huge hit pieces on H3H3. And it was a very well put together video, and it was like a compilation of all the stuff that Ethan's done wrong over the years. And AB made a video defending him, and his name at the time was like Starkilla or something like that. And that's how he started working for Ethan. And like I find it kind of cool, like even though like I don't like them really, like that they're still working together till this day, and like AB's made a career off of that. I mean, that like Ethan's pretty much like a role model to him. It's like his like uncle or something that took him under his wing.
The coaches deserve a lot
pretty cool
of credit.
It's nepotism.
Especially you guys who were involved with the freaking event, the management of the whole event, you know?
Right. Yeah. Mike Leonardi even said after the second event ended, when it was just him and I talking, and Mike Leonardi was like, man, these events wouldn't even happen without you. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because he knows about the drama that I have to deal with training Ian and how hard it was to get him to train.
Yeah.
And so, because I think he knew Mike knew that I think Ian didn't like boxing either. Everybody just by the way, like he would interact with boxing.
So this guy Mike, you mentioned him to me. I wasn't sure. He's the fight promoter.
So he was he was the manager that they got in touch with. So what happened, man, the story of this event was amazing. Like, Ian had to reach out to all these people, and they were weird. And then he reached out to Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao hooked him up with a guy.
I still can't believe Manny Pacquiao fucking answered his call.
They met Mike Leonardi. And so Mike was a manager in Vegas, and he knows promoters, and he knows how to promote boxing events.
I feel like, though, with something like Creator Clash, though, promoters can do something with that. Like, you already have people who are established. Because you think about it this way. Honestly, an event like Creator Clash is really hard to fuck up. Especially if you get the right people around it, which they did not for 2 and 3. But a promoter can promote with, like, people on the amateur scene. Or, like, people in the regional scene who are small names, like, up and coming. And they can make a card where people want to see it out of that. So, ideally, if you have someone who's like a YouTuber with a big following, you can do anything you really want with that. People are going to want to see that. That's so easy to promote. Like, them failing Creator Clash, like failing to do Creator Clashes and failing to set them up, that's completely on them because Ian and Anissa did not promote the events properly. Especially for someone who has like an audience of, I don't know how many subscribers Idubbbz has, like 7 million people. And then, like, all the talent he got around him, like, people who are established online, with all the fan bases they have, there was no reason the event should have been a failure. Absolutely none.
And this guy, Coach Rick.
That's Harley's coach.
Yeah, Jesse Thompson's Harley's coach. So anyways, he hooks us up with all these guys in Florida, and that's how we were able to throw the event. But it was like the craziest set of circumstances for us to end up where we ended up. So I wish Ian would have told the story. He should have been proud of the story.
Right.
I had a quick question. Sorry.
You want to go or should I go?
Oh, I was going to say...
Sorry, I'm being silly. Go ahead.
Roll it.
Oh, Hila had a funny comment. She said, Hila donated. I hate when she does that. Why is she giving money?
Where is Hila right now? Why is she not on the show? I don't get the lore with that.
In here, you guys, stop. This is not what podcasting is.
Bye, Amador.
I know. I was afraid this was going to be an emotional dumping ground, and I was like, oh, I hope it doesn't sound like.
Anyway, sorry, Harley, go ahead.
I was going to ask because just your opinion. Do you think that they were intentionally misleading with any of this, or just sloppy in their?
Oh, they definitely were intentionally.
Just sloppy. I think it was just.
I think they intentionally did it. I mean, look at the videos Ian made on Ethan recently, where he intentionally misconstrued information, like with the CPS stuff, and just like trying to make Ethan look like a more deranged person than he already is. Like, Ian needs to misconstrue things, and he likes to how do I put this? Like, he likes to muddy the waters between reality, so.
That's the thing, like, I still freaking, I always had the best. You want to be around people that want the best for you, and I always wanted the best for
I
Ethan.
never figured
And so I
Ethan,
always
like,
felt like,
if I was around fuck! Their names are so similar. They're, like, interchangeable. Like, they were, like, the same person for a period, too. Like, they both kind of became lolcows, and their names end in AN. One last random question for Bojack. What is your favorite game? I don't like games because I'm an adult.
man, like, we're gonna break through. We're gonna have this moment where we break through and things are gonna be good, but then they never were. So in my mind, I think they just got sloppy. I think they thought in the second event they were gonna do millions of dollars in pay-per-view sales. And so I think that's why they went so far in the hole, because they just assumed they were gonna get these huge pay-per-view sales.
Just to be clear, Ila's joking. I don't know if you guys know that. The dumping thing is a joke about something Ian
yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't want you guys to think that I was. You
This is
guys,
your
you guys
emotional
dump away,
dumping ground.
please. We're here to dump. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned something. So this guy Michael, he
Mike.
left. Mike. So he left Creator Clash and went and started working for Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And
Good
he
night, Amador.
scheduled the Jake Paul event
Oh wow.
for the same
Same
day.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ian's old guy.
Yeah,
and
so-
he had to do that on.
When they had Creator Clash scheduled, Jake Paul had his event scheduled on the same day of it. And then UFC 317 was also scheduled for that day, too. So there was legitimately no way that event would get any viewership, which is fucking hilarious.
I think he still owns Creator.
That's why they had to change the date. That was part of it.
Well,
It's just when you have like a Jake Paul, you can like that's your thing. That's going to take priority over everything for sure. Like the event is 100 times bigger than Creator Clash at its best. But I think he's still involved with Creator Clash.
So, but then why would he do it on the same day if it wasn't meant as shade?
It's a great day.
It's crazy.
It's so crazy to me. When we saw that,
Yeah.
I was like, because we already knew it was the same night as it. So first of all, Ian never even reached out to me at all for Creator Clash 3. That's one of the big things I want from this is to like, because what happens when Ian messes with you or messes with these other people, a lot of it comes back onto me and either my YouTube channel or my Instagram, where people start putting a bunch of comments on my stuff. It's probably happening to Harley. It happens to everybody that's related to it, right?
Well, like what? What did they say?
They say fraud coach.
Oh, they're
they
shit.
say,
What?
They talk about the sparring videos.
Oh.
So people want to see sparring videos, but Ian never put out any of my filming, so people think that Michael didn't
Yeah,
have
so
him spar correctly.
people in the comments, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, you never had him spar."
That's why
I lost the
people
fight.
thought
Oh,
he was
you
a
didn't
pad
have him do
princess.
this. That's why I lost the fight. And I'm like, if he were to release the footage, they would say we did all of those
Yeah.
things. But now I have to try to stick up for myself and have my YouTube be an emotional dumping ground for my
Right.
comment section
Yeah.
to try to protect myself, or my brand. And so it was just crazy to me because.
Horrible.
Sorry about that, guys. Ian, now is not your time. We'll have time for you. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. He's intolerable. Hila is loving this, by the way. She just gifted 20 members. Hila is loving this. So Ian almost has this superpower. Maybe it's Anissa together, but they say great leaders inspire loyalty. It seems that everybody in his life, he's forced to be disloyal. He has like negative
Yes.
leadership. What do you call that? What is negative leadership?
Abuse.
Abuse?
Yes.
I'm fucking
So
tired.
you think it's so? I guess quantify that. Did you feel like abuse? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. The reason why I say it's abusive is because, like, for example, the bonus, right? They mentioned it to me, Michael, that they're going to give a bonus after CC1. And then after the event was so great, they just went rogue on us, you know? It's interesting because we invite them to our house for Thanksgiving. We're so nice to them. We open up our lives to them. They've met my kids, like our kids, you know, and everything. But then once the work is done and they don't need us, they kind of just put us at bay and they make it uncomfortable for us to reach out to them. or if we reach out to them, they don't respond. So treating us like we're not really
Seems
in
like
their
he
inner
did that a
circle,
lot,
which
too.
makes no sense because we worked with them for CC1, CC2. Michael and I have traveled with them to LA, Vegas, Florida. Keep in mind that when we were in Florida with them, we were with them for 2 to 3 weeks at a period of time. That's a long time to be with someone. You learn so much about the person. And then you start to realize, wow, everything that, I mean, I don't want to say, you know, their enemy's name. What's his name? Sam?
No way.
But when we saw
Sam.
that video,
He's right. You could say it.
I don't want to say his name.
The one where he's like, well, hold on. So there's a video.
Like
of
he's
Sam
the
Hyde,
fucking
and he
boogeyman.
goes,
I don't want to say his name. That's crazy. They were that conditioned by Anissa and Ian.
She's gonna ruin his life. Mark my words. I guarantee it. Is that the one you're talking about?
yes, Anissa was the one that showed it to us because we didn't know nothing.
What was funny?
I guess we'll pull up the Sam clip. That's a good clip. I mean, I've been a big fan of Sam for years, like even before he blew up, which is really funny. People forget that Ian basically revived the corpse of Sam Hyde's career. He really did. Before Ian did that documentary on him, Sam's career was pretty much completely in the gutter. Well, not completely. Like, he was still, like, clips of him were still going around, but Ian really, like, helped bring his channel back to relevance. Sam was stuck making most of his content on, like, Gumroad and stuff, and, like, his hardcore fans, like, people like me who used to, like, watch him back in the day, like, we were still there around for him, but he didn't have the notoriety he does now. And the whole stuff with Ian, when I remember when Sam uploaded, like, Idubbbz made a documentary on me, and that pressured Ian to release his doc on Sam. That's really the catalyst for the Sam Hyde we got now. That's the catalyst for Sam making Fish Tank, for Sam getting $1 Million Extreme World Peace 2 to get another season, and now making Extreme Peace, which is like the new running title for World Peace 2 Season 2, or whatever you want it. There's just so many layers to it. Sam Hyde's comments on Anissa and Ian Joma. I find it fucking crazy. I still can't believe he took his wife's last name.
With the 15 says, Sam, get Jed a raise for the consistently pleasant streams. Also, in Anissa's own words, Sam, you are a scorpion, and Ian is a fraud. Some kind of Muslim story fable, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so, man.
She's not very Muslim, too. I mean, if someone was actually a devout Muslim, they wouldn't be parading themselves naked online, but what the fuck do I know?
I think it's the opposite, my fellow.
He's the scorpion?
He's a fucking snake.
Oh, there we go. And what are you?
What do you think about that?
I mean, he's
I
right.
think he's a fucking snake.
Look at the way everyone reacts about him.
There's a certain... I think he's, he might be too foolish to be evil.
He's got an ego.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's a fucking, like, mastermind.
Where's the fucking
And
clip they're
he
referencing?
definitely
It's
viewed...
not in this. Is it the one on the bottom? Oh, they were looking at our OnlyFans. Yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking about that on the way to work because I saw.
I made a video back in the day reviewing Anissa's OnlyFans, and like I was going through like fucking with her too. Like we got an account. It was actually me and Tay, the girl I brought up earlier, the girl who makes car content. I unlisted the video, not because like it wasn't like anything really wrong with the video itself. It wasn't like bad or anything, but I don't really want to promote like sex work content on my channel. And like my whole thing is when you acknowledge something, because it got like 70,000 views. It was a pretty big video. Acknowledging something like that is just giving it good publicity, and it's just absolute degeneracy. So it's like giving that industry I don't like added eyes and attention. So I took it down because like I had like moral epiphanies when it comes to religion as of late. Like it was within the past few years I had started having these thoughts, so that's part of the reason I just took the video down.
Well, so what's crazy to me is like, so for example, when Ian did your show for Creator Clash 2, he would never say my name. he would always just go Ian's coach or my coach. And then AB was the one that actually had to say my name. AB was like, oh, you mean Michael? And then I was like, thank you, AB. Appreciate you. But so, and then same thing when he did the other podcast, he said, oh, my coach is he's really tough. He has toxic masculine qualities.
Wait, when did he say that?
He said that when he was talking to
What a fucking
with
pussy.
the Smosh guy.
Yeah.
So he did that. And
You know
said,
what?
oh, my
He's lost his mind. I'm sorry, but if anybody deserves to have toxic masculine traits, it's your boxing coach, okay? Get in line, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really.
Like,
That's who you
like,
want
about-
teaching you
remember
how to
Mike
fight.
Tyson's coach, this like grumpy, insane old man. Like, this is who you want to fucking coach you, dude. What are you talking about?
I didn't see the podcast you're talking about, but yeah, I know when I was training with Michael, I felt so loving compared to when I was fighting with Wally.
It sounds like
Wally used to
Wally.
tell me, you can punch me in my sleep and I won't blink. Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I actually had to learn how to talk to Ian from training because during one of the sessions when
Boxing
he wasn't
coach had to
supposed
handle
spar,
him
but
with
then he
kids'
ended up going to
gloves.
spar Alex Stearns one day.
Oh, I want to ask you about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
it's
hilarious.
epic.
It was funny to me because we weren't supposed to spar that day. Actually, it was the morning that he released the Sam High documentary.
Yes.
So I had no idea he had so much going on because I didn't even know what the documentary was.
We didn't know who anybody was.
Anybody. I just want to control. I want to focus on the fight, right? So he releases the documentary, but we're in LA. We're visiting gyms.
That's when he
We're
started
supposed
with
to
the whole
watch-
creator class
yeah,
shit.
Oh yeah, that was for that. But we wanted to watch Alex Stearns train. So we go to Alex Stearns' gym, and the coach of the head guy of the gym, the owner, says that he doesn't believe women should fight. So Anissa gets really upset and decides she wants to. The owner of the gym said that.
The owner of Alex Stearns.
So Anissa got so offended that she said.
Anissa got so offended she didn't fight herself. That will show him.
Out today, and we're like, what? And then so, and I'm like,
man, to get slaughtered by Alex Ernst, who's like some kind of like boxing savant or something. He fucking annihilated him, dude.
Yeah.
So what happened was, it was funny because Alex has really thick glasses. So he took his glasses off and he can't see anything. So he just starts swinging haymakers.
Oh, he couldn't
But
even
then-
see.
Oh no, but Ian like froze.
Oh
And
wait,
so-
and also before the filming, so before they did the sparring, Anissa and Ian runs up to me and they're like, Kate, make sure you film this because we want to put on our YouTube channel how
In the
does
documentary.
in the documentary, how does 3 week of training look like and 3 months of training look like? Because Ian at that time had been training for 3 months with us.
Probably looked
And so I
identical.
filmed
And
it.
Alex 3 weeks. He had just
After-
started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing was, skill-wise, Ian was much better. Ian wasn't just used to somebody throwing haymakers, and so Alex comes out and just starts hitting him with haymakers. And the first 2 rounds, I was talking to him very softly. I was like, Ian, are you okay? Can you throw punches? If you can't throw punches, I'm going to scrap this sparring because you're not throwing any punches. And then he's like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then 2 rounds later, then I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? And then he went on the Smosh show and he was like, yeah, it's bad enough when you get beat up and your coach is yelling at
Shut
you too.
up, dude.
I swear.
That's
Yeah.
coaching.
So-
That's all of coaching.
Corner. That's how the corner's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yes.
Throw a punch, man.
Yes.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
I have the reference here. Let's watch it.
Alex is a freak of nature, I gotta say.
The way.
I remember watching that, and everyone was like, "What was that?" Because he kind of, it seemed everybody could tell he got pretty rattled by that fight.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
You did you say? And I'm gonna. Did you say he cried?
Oh, we had to have a meeting.
Yeah. So after that, so he was crying at the gym afterwards, and I said, and once again, I hate to hate on him for that because it's very emotional.
Yeah,
when
for
you-
sure.
So,
for sure.
in some parts,
are they
fine,
talking
right?
about Alex
So I
Wasabi
don't- but
right
then
now?
What happened afterwards was horrible because then we went back to the hotel and then they were eating at Denny's and they said we need to have a meeting. So I had to go to Denny's and they pretty much then talked about how they were going to have to fire me because I reminded Ian of his father when his father would yell at him as a kid. And so
That's so fucking gay. I saw this on Twitter today, and I tweeted out, "This is the gayest thing I've heard all month," and it's Pride Month. Anyways.
I had to relearn how to talk to him. And at the time, I didn't even mind because I'm like, as a coach, I need to learn how to talk to different fighters anyways. Like, communication's the most important thing. one of the most important things as a coach. So
Yeah.
I was trying to turn it into a
Get a
positive.
comms
but
degree.
It definitely was.
But
He almost got fired at Denny's.
Yeah, exactly. After
At a
that
Denny's.
session. But
I
not
almost
only
farted
that,
at Denny's.
Yeah, Michael and I rewatched the sparring, right, with him and Alex Ernst, and you could clearly hear that Anissa was screaming louder than Michael.
Yeah, so he was literally yelling at him worse than I was.
Probably
but I was like,
his
but
daily
apparently
life
I was
right
the
there.
one that- I yelled at him and he froze.
It triggered him, and he thought.
Imagine what she does behind the
We'd have
scenes
to
to
deal
him.
with
That's
things
the
like
scary
that all
thing.
the time where it was like he wasn't even supposed to spar that day. Like I'm like, what the hell is
He didn't
going
have a
on?
mouthpiece.
He didn't. Yeah.
He didn't
so-
have a mouthpiece.
He didn't have a
Michael brought all the
mouthpiece.
to the gym and put it in the microwave. It didn't even fit. It was
So,
ridiculous.
When you plan to spar like that, you want to prep. You don't want to just go into it.
You want to be like ask AB. You want to be mentally prepared for a sparring day.
Okay, because it's yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, my first sparring day, like it was so fucking bad. Like when I left and I came back, Wally started jumping all around the gym. He's like, I never thought I'd see you again. He goes, okay, the fact that you came back, he's like, now I'm in.
Holy shit!
But
And
yeah,
by-
it was scary. I was supposed to spar Alex Ernst actually, because me and Alex would
Thank
talk
God.
all
Oh
the
my God,
time,
bro.
and I heard about this encounter, and I told
Who the fuck
Alex
is
after, I'm
Alex
like,
Ernst?
Fuck that. I'm good.
Alex had a really good coach. Alex actually found a coach that like coached world champion boxers. I have no idea how he found the guy. The guy showed up the day of the event, like a couple hours before the event, and then he left right after the event. So he didn't stay for anything. Alex's coach, but he was a really good coach.
So he wasn't prepared to spar, and then
No.
Anissa put him up to it because she heard the owner of the gym is
Told her correctly.
the owner of the gym who's not related to the fight really. He wasn't
At all.
there. He didn't care. It was just some comment. So she had to prove something to
By
the
getting
owner
her
to
husband
have him
beaten
beat
up.
Alex, who doesn't have anything to do with him. They have a weird thing. They do this where they go, "Oh, really? If you think I'm an asshole, then you should hear about this. What this gym,
They do
what
that a
this
lot.
kid did, totally unrelated to me at this shooting range. You should hear what the owner of this building said. Who? It's like, what are you talking about? What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, it's like another Rice Cup
Dope.
situation where someone's beefing and Anissa's like, Ian, you better go throw a fight now and beat him up and be a boxer.
Yeah, that was actually how the whole situation started.
He wanted to
because,
fight Ricegum. I forgot about that.
And he said, and
Yeah.
he said, tell your husband to fight me, or tell your man to fight me, or something like that. And that's how they ended up hiring me, because I was supposed to train him to fight Ricegum. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have two totally inexperienced.
That would have been
people
so much better.
fight on some event. I had no idea what was going on.
Right. This is a lot.
It is a lot.
The sparring thing is next level because sparring at our level, people don't spar in their first year of boxing necessarily,
Right.
and it is really mentally and physically.
I've never really
taxing,
heard
and
that.
If someone did boxing for 2 months and then sparred and then quit,
I mean, I've heard people say like you shouldn't spar within the first couple months, but the only way you get better in any combat sport is drilling it and sparring it. And sparring's the best way to get better at anything. I mean, you get your ass beat a lot. Like, I'll admit it, I'm not Superman. Every time I spar, I kind of... Well, not every time I spar. There's like... See, for me, when I spar, there's a kind of way I look at it. So, most of the times when I spar... I spar people around my level, but whenever I spar someone who's a fighter at my gym, it's just like I can't compete with them. I can't hang with them. Anyone who has like way more experience than me, it's like it's like, what do you expect? Like, they've trained all their lives. But I don't let it frustrate me or anything, because it's like, you know, I know I'm getting something out of it and I'm getting better, but it's not fun being a punching bag for someone. Ideally, if you're sparring, I think you should look at it this way. You should do like a Goldilocks method. Like, if you spar someone who is... Oh, I'm just reading chat right now. What the fuck was he loves BBWs about? If you spar, right? Say you spar someone who's a lot better than you and you get dominated. The next time you spar, you should spar someone a little bit worse than you. Just because, like, so you can get the flow. Don't beat up on the person, but it gives you confidence. And then you spar someone around your level. Or, like, you go down, like, in, like, rankings of fighting people. Like, you spar someone a little bit worse than you, give them the experience, help them work. and then you spar someone on your level, and then you spar someone above your level to humble you. And it really does help. I mean, I feel like I get my best work in sparring people around my level, but it's also, like, it's a nice feeling to be sparring with someone and then be teaching them things, too.
Understand that, and there's no way my coach would have ever, like, anyone could have been like, oh yeah, he's gonna go do this or that if I wasn't mentally prepared for it. So the pressure aspect is really interesting because I don't understand.
I wonder what the
ultimately, what was the
humidity is
point of
right
that?
now.
It's
I am
just
dying.
Gonna set things back, you know.
Yeah. And that's
It's
why,
64 degrees
try to
out
have Ian
with
very controlled
an
sparring
80%
until,
humidity.
like towards kind of more towards the last 8-10 weeks of camp, and then we would really pick it up. For the second fight, he sparred hard. He was literally stopping people in sparring. Even for the first fight, he actually had stopped Nathan Barnett with a body shot. He stopped
Ian did?
with a body
No
shot.
way.
So he was actually in sparring. Like,
That's
once
crazy.
He got a little bit better. He was doing pretty damn well. But I agree, like, you shouldn't be putting people in early until they actually know not only how to throw punches and defend themselves, but also
Why couldn't you fucking finish anyone in a fight?
because a lot of times they might know how to throw punches or even defend, but then they
Well,
get
I know
hit, they
why.
freeze, or
He's
they
fighting
stop.
people way better than him. Way more athletic.
So
I'm
you
surprised
were
he got
trying to
dad
dissuade-
good,
did
though.
you try to dissuade him, like, dude, you're not ready? This is a
I was
bad
like,
idea.
we don't have a mouthpiece, we don't have headgear, we don't have the right gloves.
Yeah.
I was totally trying to dissuade. I was like, we're not ready for
You
this.
should listen to your coach, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard because, like, Ian, you could tell in his eyes, he could not say no to Anissa.
Yeah.
So what is he gonna do? He's
Pussy
gonna
whip.
just suck it up, go get that $20 mouthpiece right
Pussy
there, put it on the
whip-itis.
microwave, and put it in his mouth. That's what he did.
Yeah. But and then that was
That
such
sounds a
traumatic-
lot like the sexual stuff he enjoys. I made that. I don't know why.
There's got to be insight in there.
apologize,
I feel like
guys.
someone
There
knows
was a
something they
moment
do in the
when I
bedroom
put
that's
it
fucking
down,
completely
and I thought,
freaky.
well, that's probably because of cuck thing. I just tried to, I apologize for that, everybody.
It was again like I mean I always want the best for Ian, so I was always just a lot of these things were just very disappointing, especially when he came out and said he was never going to release a documentary. I was just like, what are you talking about?
That was hurtful.
We have hours of footage, and I could see why they didn't want to make a documentary on the second one, because they didn't want to show how Anissa helped promote this whole event, and
It failed.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So that made sense.
No, I've heard Anissa talk a lot on the show and other places, and Ian was backing her up. She's like, she has amazing footwork. Like, she is like some natural gifted type of boxer.
I need to hear
And
this
I
from the
forget
boxing
why
coach.
They said she couldn't fight, but they're like, but she unfortunately she can't fight. But if she could, she would. She's like amazing. And so I was just kind of curious because you were training her. Is she is she this natural gifted boxing savant?
So she did have some athleticism for a girl.
He adds for a girl.
Was when she would come forward really hard,
She'd get rocked.
When she would come forward really hard.
But do you want to clarify that? You can.
Okay, when she would come forward really hard, what happened?
Like a lot of women are just less athletic when it comes to boxing. That's why
It's about throwing punches. It's about because men have more upper body strength, women have more lower body strength in general, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's plenty of women that that play basketball that will kill me in basketball, right? But fighting is a separate thing. Fighting is its own entity, and so
it really
I don't
is.
even almost consider fighting a sport, really, right? Compared to other things. And so when you have some athleticism for a girl, and like because she had played sports, that's more what I meant. Was she had played sports as a girl, so with some athleticism. Ian had never played a sport a day in his life. Ian had zero athleticism, right? So training her was easier than training Ian because she had more athleticism. But what happened on her first sparring session, I would always tell her, you can't just come forward. You can't just come forward. And so she had a sparring session, and she was just trying to walk forward, and then a girl punched her. And then I was actually watching Ian, so I wasn't even watching. I just heard a big pop. And then I looked over, and she was kind of frozen. And then she said she had a concussion. Then the next day, she went and told the doctor that she had a headache and sensitivity to light and pretty much all the concussion
The whole
symptoms.
entire list, like, it went on forever.
And then so we were like, oh no, she has a concussion. And then Ian's like, well, she's kind of a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay.
Ian actually reassured
No
me.
way.
I was worried at that
She's
time.
not gonna like hearing that.
Yeah, I tried to.
He stood up for himself. He fucking he contradicted her. That's crazy.
I tried to check on her, and reassured me. He's like, hey, don't worry about her. She's actually a hypochondria, and she does this often where she self-diagnoses herself and freaks out.
She's not gonna
So
like that.
that's like, don't worry about it. She'll be fine. And I was like, okay, then why is she continuously talking about it on all her media outlets?
The thing that drove me crazy
Is that why
was
she said she couldn't box? Because she had a like. What, do you remember what it was?
She was an athlete in high school, and she had previous concussions, if I remember correctly, or
Okay.
something where the doctor told her it was too big of a risk.
Well, definitely don't box then.
Also, the doctor's gonna tell you what you tell them. If I come in,
Right.
I
Yeah.
consider you light and have headaches.
No, that's
they're gonna say you have a concussion.
That is absolutely right.
And then
When I was a kid, I said I had a concussion during football. I got like my head sat on, so I have no idea how I'd get concussed from this. But my head hurt after it. So like they took me to the doctor and checked me out. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like I think I have a concussion. But looking at the symptoms for a concussion, I had none of the symptoms of a concussion. So I got diagnosed with a concussion I never had. But they're also very protective about that stuff. I mean, reasonably so. CTE is like a serious thing. Like, you don't want to end up with CTE, like, later down the road. Especially when you're a child, they're going to be overly sensitive about that. But, like, Anissa's clearly self-diagnosing. She was either looking for a way out, or she just exaggerating to exaggerate.
the part of the story that drove me crazy was how all of a sudden she went from saying she had this concussion to she's had all these concussions while she was training. And then by the time she was on, like, your guys' show and these other shows, she's like, I've had 11 minors and 2 majors. And I'm like,
Anissa's pimping out minors.
And nobody's like, that was a minor. That was a major, you know? And so I was like, well, if you had 2 majors, that would mean you were, like, completely unconscious. And she said she got them from, like, lacrosse and hockey. So I'm like, you're telling me that you got knocked out completely unconscious on the field.
I've never seen someone get knocked out in football.
Put her back on the field. I'm like, that makes 0 sense to me.
She's a liar. I mean, she does 100%. Lie. She lies about everything. It seems like.
Yes.
Yeah. I just don't. And also, like, literally 2 majors. If she said she has 13, 11 minors and 2 majors.
13 concussions.
2
You're
majors would mean,
legally
like, you were
retarded.
Completely unconscious. And that's
a lot of
time.
head trauma. You know what's ironic? Ian acts like that's what happened to him. You know, but Anissa, she seems more in control than ever.
Oh yeah.
She's got the leash.
Yeah, it's odd, and that's why, like, I felt so bad because you could see. So that the 2 of the best weeks, or one of the best weeks we had in training,
it's when Anissa wasn't around.
Visit her family in Canada. And then that was when Ian invited his sparring partners to the gala. I wasn't a part of that, but he went out and did, like,
they took him out to hot and cold plunge.
Yeah, one of the guys that runs the gym. So first of all, the gym that we're out of is this guy Luca Hosever's gym, and it's called Vigor Ground Athletics. And he was the one that did their programming in the beginning. And when they went on some show and they were like, Ian, how did you gain all this weight? She was like, oh, I studied kinesiology.
That's
and I'm like,
crazy.
wait. I'm like, how did you studying kinesiology dig him to gain weight? Like, that makes no sense. Because in reality, it was Luca that was writing their programming for him, but they never wanted to give him a shout out. And that's when we realized they don't want to give anybody a shout out. Like, they would never give me a shout out. They would never give Luca a shout out. Randomly enough, I guess occasionally they would give Mike Leonardi one.
Yes,
but
because
otherwise,
he's the manager and he had a bigger following. Unless you have a big following, she's not gonna give you a shout out. She'll just suck the blood out of you and go away.
Yeah.
So you think Anissa's the one?
Succubus.
Oh, 100%.
I do, but it is also Ian that allows it to happen.
He enjoys it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Ian.
What is happening with them?
Yes, he enjoys it. We used to
He
feel sorry
enjoys
for him.
it. It's a fetish thing.
We both did. Michael felt sorry for him up until CC2. After CC1, I cut that shit off because I was like, you know what?
At one point, they start talking about, like, Ian having
having
horrible BO and, like, hygiene habits, and I'm just waiting for that.
After she did that first interview, and I'm always like, I always want the best for my clients, so I'm like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Things are gonna work out. They're gonna give me a shout out. He's gonna make this documentary, like all these. And she's like, they're never gonna give you the credit, you know. And I was always like, oh. Well, and in my mind, I'm like, no, like, I love Ian. I trust Ian. I feel like Ian's got, like, my best interest at heart, too. But then he didn't. The time that I actually was finally fully fed up was when I had to ask them about the gala, and we were already in Florida. And I'm like, this is the last straw. Like, you don't even, she's like, you guys don't have to be there. Like, she was practically telling us she didn't want us
Disrespectful.
Crazy.
Disrespectful.
For no reason.
And the reason why, I also want to say, the reason why, like, Michael and I, we were waiting for them to tell us about the gala, but they never did. So they waited so long, we got to Florida. We were 2 weeks away from the event, and they still haven't said anything to us. And at this time, all of Ian's sparring partners, there was probably like 4 or 5 of them that flew out, or I think 6 of them total, flew out from Washington, paid for their own flights, their own hotel, and they're all coming there to support Ian. And they all have been helping Ian throughout his fight camp, right? And so they're asking us about the gala. We don't know about it. So we were afraid that if all his teammates showed up, they might not be able to get into the gala. How embarrassing would that be if his teammates are not able to get into the gala because she doesn't want them to be a part of it? So that's why we asked her directly, and that's when she told us about the 500K. That's when she told us about why would we want to be there. It made no sense.
Also, all of his sparring partners paid for themselves to be there.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Ethan, but this is some interesting shit, I guess. Some interesting insight, at least.
Other than Kate and I. So, otherwise, like, none of the, like, if you're throwing the event and you have all these sparring partners and training partners, I would think you would invite them before, like, 300 creators that don't mean anything to you.
100%. Yeah, you gotta think about the time that
300 creators.
All of his teammates that volunteer their time, they're sparring for free. They're taking time from their work, their family, to come and contribute. They don't do this because they're obsessed with Ian. They do this because they have loyalty to me and Michael and how we have helped them, and that's why they show up to spar with Ian. And all he does is look the other way when Anissa says and invite them. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It's disgusting. I can't. All we have to show is our hard work, and there's no way that I'm going to let Ian and Anissa take that away from us.
That's crazy. What do you make of that?
Yeah, no, it.
Did you guys?
It's like a constant humiliation ritual at this point. I don't know how he can take it, to be quite honest. Like, first off, I don't think I'd ever let myself get into a situation like that. But if I had the amount of humiliation that man did, where people online know I shit myself, where people online keep calling me a cuck because my girlfriend's not girlfriend, my wife who controls me is a disgusting whore who records pornos of herself opening up her butthole on the internet, I think I would throw myself off a bridge. But that's just me personally.
Hear anything or know about how they chose the performers for the gala, the people that they put? There was a couple performers.
Have you seen his post boxing? Oh yeah, where he cries. I love this. Hold on. I remember watching this. I was in my kitchen. It was after work. I was eating, and I'm just sitting there, and I just remember I think I was eating chicken or something. I had the chicken in hand, and I remember just laughing, and I dropped the chicken on the plate watching this. I know I'm not everyone's favorite person or their cup of tea. Him crying too. That's like adding insult to injury to the coaching. And then Anissa comes over and touches his head. I only saw it the first time the other day. I saw this live, dude. I pirated the event. He probably shit himself a little bit too during that. I had to turn it off. It was so cringe. Well, you know what's the worst part of Creator Clash? And I hated this in the first one too, even when I thought the event was like cool. Like with Creator Clash 1, like watching that, because that was a fun event. I think a lot of people sat down for the first time and watched that. I hated all the fansly shit around the ring. And I hated how openly they embraced that. But of course they did, because like they love sex workers. The little voice crack is fucking hilarious. It's like a toddler. It's probably what his dad heard when he was beating him.
Everyone, you know, I know I'm not everyone's
cup of tea.
But I really do appreciate the support. And,
I wonder what the post-fight speech would have been for Creator Clash 3. Once he got his ass whooped for a third time, like how many tears would have came out.
Thank you for coming.
insight on who they were or what the connection
Are you talking about
was.
like the comedians or who you talking?
Comedian and singer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a smaller thing, but like I noticed it all over the place in the branding.
So for the first event,
It literally,
we were a part of,
Creator Clash 2, I don't mean like 2 as in the event, but like 2, it literally was like a mini advertisement for like sex work.
those decisions. But for the second event, like I said, they kept us in the dark about the gala. Really, like, it was my main responsibility to help with, one, Ian's training, but also make sure, like, everybody else had legit coaches and helped, like, because for the first event, I helped train a lot of the people. I probably helped train, like, 90% of the people that fought on
like
the
Eric
first
came
event.
to Washington for 2 weeks to train with you, remember?
That was another thing that actually upset me, was, like, comment etiquette Eric. Like, I love that guy. But he only was able to train for the last 17 days of the fight. Because
Why would they even set up a fight for him at that point?
But then when Chad
17 days isn't enough to
they
do
were like,
anything.
oh, we need to find somebody. And so they found DJ Welch. And
That guy's a beast.
They told us he was out of shape and
That
had
guy's
no
a monster. By
And
the
then
way,
they
super
fed
nice guy.
him.
That guy's great. Both of those guys are amazing dudes. Yeah.
He was great. But
He's a
imagine
beast.
somebody telling you this guy has no experience. That's why Eric and him had headgear on. And that was another thing I got blamed for. They're like,
I think I just watched Harley's fight.
Look at
Harley's
him.
fights
I'm
were
like, dude,
interesting.
I
I liked both of them. I remember rooting for him so hard in the first fight.
Because the whole time he was like, DJ's out of shape. DJ, we're just gonna have fun.
And
man, DJ came out and whooped his ass. I was
Dude,
like,
he's
what the hell?
he's jacked. He's like actually
He's
jacked.
huge arms,
Like,
bro.
this is not fair at all.
And DJ fought formerly. Oh, well, he's been training MMA for a very long time. Yeah.
They
Oh,
were
he's
like,
a
oh,
fighter too.
Harley's not saying much on this either, though.
So what that?
He's just kind of there existing. He says something like maybe every 5 minutes.
They were like, well, they didn't even tell us really any of that stuff because a lot of it they like try to find on their own when it was last minute stuff. So for example, like when Matt fought Dad, like they almost canceled that like 20 times because Matt was never training for the event.
That was crazy too, but I mean, it's like you could clearly tell that. Like
What happened too?
watching Dad versus Matt Watson was quite the experience. I don't even think Dad was that good at fighting. I think Matt Watson's just Matt Watson. It's so like physically unathletic that like that was bound to happen.
I almost don't blame Matt, except like Ryan found a good coach or a coach, right? So I don't know why Matt couldn't have. But Matt's coach.
Yeah, Harley's.
They just want to do all this.
You'll
pad
see
work,
him
just,
like
random
randomly
pad work,
popping
and then
up.
they would say, but
He has like a
don't
little
play road work,
Keemstar
no
background.
running.
I
And
don't
then
know
when they
where
found
he is in
out
here,
that it was
but
a
oh,
real
there he
event
is.
and there was gonna be 10,000 people there.
What?
They fucking disappeared.
Where did they disappeared?
Disappeared on him. Just straight disappeared on him. Like they
Was
were
that-
taking all of his money until they found out it was a real event. I think a lot of people were shocked.
They really did have something good with the first Creator Clash, and then they fucking just completely ruined the brand rep.
So we're like, hey, this is what's so crazy is like he could have told the story. He would have been proud of it. Like the story was amazing. We're going to.
I kind of do wish though an event similar to it because it's a pretty good idea. Like, I don't know. I hope an event like it where like I want more like YouTubers who aren't like super brand friendly fighting. I think that would be a fun thing. Like not like the DAZN YouTuber like influencer fights. Those are like cool, I guess. Like the Wings fight, that was cool. Wings versus Boogie, but we need like a fun event. Just trying to stay out of the controversy, I guess. Yeah. I don't think he is. He's just there. He was talking about it. He just doesn't have much to add. But then again, I feel like Coach Mike has way more to say on this because who has heard what he's had to say so far? I mean, he's been pretty quiet about everything.
And we're like, hey, we want to throw a YouTube boxing event. They're like, where? We're like, we don't know. They're like, when? When? We're like, we don't know, but we're gonna do it. And they were like, get out of here. You know, it was like it made no sense. And so I was almost like, hey guys, maybe we should let me talk to some of these people before, because like they would just have these awkward ass conversations in all these boxing gyms. And so a lot of the people that ended up getting hired, like I don't know if Lucky even thought it was a real event when he was training AB, or they didn't know how big it was going to be, you know?
Right. Well, AB probably. AB knows.
So
I don't know.
My gym, like they.
I think they did something similar on Fish Tank. The thing about Fish Tank is they kind of overdid their welcome, in my opinion, with it. I'm not super excited for season 4. I think part of it is my issues with Jet Neptune, because him and I mutually don't like each other. But, like, I really liked season 1. I'm friends with John. You know, John's a friend of the show and, like, someone who I've worked with. And funny enough, I don't know if you know about this, but John had his own show, and it was supposed to be streamed on Fish Tank Live. It was called American Dude Lodge. And I am friends with a couple people who participated in the show. And I was supposed to be on it, but... Well, not that I was supposed to be on it. They wanted me on the show. And they were begging me to go on, right? Yeah, Fish Tank is... I don't know. You have to be unemployed to keep up with something like that. And, like, yeah, no, I get it as an MDE fan. So, they wanted me to go on this show that John was running called American Dude Lodge. And it ended in, like, one of the worst ways possible. And it was, like, a complete brand PR nightmare for everyone involved. They had, like, people, like... I think they made them, like, say racial slurs and shit like that, like, into a camera. But it was just, like, worse Fish Tank. And then it ended with a guy hitting his girlfriend on stream. So I'm kind of glad I was never a part of it. It was an unmitigated disaster. But there is one person I've met from that show. His name is Big K Hernandez, or Kevin. And he's another YouTuber, and he used to work with Max and Chad from Cold Ones and this other show, or this other YouTube channel, The Boys. And him and I talk in groups. Like, I met him through one of my friends who was on the production of the show. Yeah, that's literally it. It's going to ruin, like, the ability to get employed. And then no one got any money out of the show because they were supposed to get paid, and the person who had access to the little cryptocurrency system that they were going to use to pay the contestants, like, ran off with the money. It was a complete disaster. And then they put the Airbnb in my, like, unemployed friend's name for the house. It was just a shit show. It really was. I'm just happy I didn't get involved with it, but I have met some cool people from it. Like, I met Kevin, and Kevin's cool, and I talk to him, like, a couple times a week, and I'm probably going to end up working with him in the future, because we're, like, about the same size on YouTube.
Wild card, they don't fuck around. Like, supposedly they even kicked Jake Paul out before. Like, they're very serious about boxing. I don't think they care, like, how big the
nice
event
voice
was.
crack, AB.
Yeah, I think even Ian, like, added Wale on Instagram, and I don't think Wale followed him back.
Yeah, the house wasn't that badly trashed, but it smelled like piss and shit when they were done with it, from what I heard in BO. And then they weren't allowed to leave the house. It was like a Fish Tank gimmick.
It's alleged by Anissa herself that Ian has both bad breath.
Oh, this is the best part.
In his pants frequently. Do you have any data on that?
Imagine your wife publicly telling everyone you have bad breath. That just goes to show, like, they don't kiss or anything. That's fucking gross. Ian's a gross person. I mean, he doesn't look like he would take his hygiene well. I mean, remember that gross mullet he had for a period? He just looks greasy, and Anissa also looks greasy too. I bet Anissa smells like dirty fucking pussy, to be quite honest.
Having been in close proximity with him. No.
I don't want to.
He doesn't want to be mean. You can tell by his face.
For example, before the first event, where he was talking about getting tonsil stones. Yeah. And he was saying he was going to get strep throat.
I don't even know how the fuck you get tonsil stones.
Ian, tonsil stones don't cause strep throat. Tonsil stones are because you're not brushing your fucking teeth.
Ew.
So like, oh, okay, hygiene. And I'm like, yeah, fool. Like, you need to brush your teeth and use, like...
Wait, hold on.
Boxing coach and life coach.
From your boxing coach. Brush your teeth. That's something...
Yeah, I've been in a relationship with a BPD woman. That was not a fun time. And I love that person too. And it's like, going back, obviously, you embarrass yourself defending your partner. You really do. I mean, sticking up for them when, like, you know shit. Like, when people are critical of them, like, to your friends and family, like when you're telling them not to talk bad about them, or like trying to justify like the bullshit they're saying or like what they have planned. Like looking back, you just make yourself look like such an idiot and a fool. But for me though, those experiences in life, I needed them. It was learning experiences and I grew from them. I don't know how Ian's gonna grow from them, being in like his early 30s at this point, when that was his only experience in life, dating. Like, I think he's pretty much fucked after this, because she's gonna divorce him one day, and it's not gonna be good when that happens for him.
That's knowledge he should have come to you with.
Yeah. He was worried about getting sick. Like, so, yeah. So.
Was it Creative Clash 1 or 2 where Anissa sent us? It was the day of training for one of the CC 1 or 2. I can't remember which one. And she sent us a photo of his tongue.
Yeah, 20 times worse. I would go as far as saying 50 times worse, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm glad. Actually, like, even the stuff with my relationships, like, it wouldn't be that bad. It would just be kind of funny. Because I'm the type of person, I don't take myself too seriously. Like, I'll laugh about it after. But he's, people like them, they take themselves way too seriously, and then I think that's part of the thing that makes it so funny to make fun of them. Because you know it upsets them.
Hold on. Go back. Why did she say
his life is over after this, dude. It's like, it's legitimately like the black pill, it's over.
I'm like, because they were trying to say he's going to get sick before the event. And it can happen if you train too hard before an event. You run your immune system down.
I wonder if Ian got tonsil zones for sucking on the bull's cock.
Yeah.
He's got way too many issues.
And I kept telling him, like, there's ways we can gain weight right before.
This is about like where I was today on my lunch break watching this.
Be 188 for the Dr. Mike fight. So the Sunday before the fight, Anissa makes him eat all this shitty food. So the Monday before the fight, he couldn't even do 2 rounds of pads in the ring without almost.
She's so fucking retarded.
I'm like, what the heck?
That was her logic for making him gain weight. Not like, because number one, the weight wasn't going to help him in the fight. Number two, you don't really necessarily need to gain weight. It just looks better on the scale, which is what they're trying to do. It was a performance. It was a show for them. But there's so many better ways they could have like made him gain weight. If they really wanted to, they could have pulled the Diary of the Wimpy Kid thing, where they put like ankle weights around him, because he was wearing like sweatpants and shit. No one would have seen it.
Oh, like,
yeah,
why are
Ian, he always seemed like a little weasel. One thing that I heard recently that upset me, because I kind of like Max Mofo, is he didn't show up at Max Mofo's wedding because Anissa got a tattoo. She had a tattoo appointment, and he missed out on someone who's supposedly one of his closest friends ever's wedding. That's so shitty. He's not a good guy.
180, but you drink like a couple Gatorades. A Gatorade is 32 ounces, which is 2 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, just drink 2 or 3 Gatorades right before weigh-ins, and you'll gain like 4 or 5 pounds, and then you'll be 185.
And then ankle weights.
But instead she was like, no, he needs to eat all this shitty food. So they were feeding him all bunch of shit, right? And that's why when he weighed in with Dr. Mike,
Anissa's a feeder? Question mark.
And I'm like, bro, that's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, you're making us
I'm your
look
fucking
bad.
coach, and you're in there with a belly up there. Like, it's one thing to have gained the weight and be like, oh, I gained weight, but it's another thing to be like the day before the fight grabbing your belly, and it's because you fucking ate a bunch of bad food.
Yeah, they would
like,
get Denny's all the time, and then he would
Denny's?
be like,
This is important. I'm accused all the time of people say that they see me in Denny's farting. They say that about me, and I want them to. I never go to Denny's. I never go out to Denny's.
Yeah, it's not kosher.
Ian's the one who's actually shitting his pants at Denny's.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
The meeting
You
that
tell him,
right
Ethan.
After Alex Ernst's fight, sparring session was at Denny's.
I genuinely do think she intentionally sabotages him. There's a clip I saw on Twitter today where they were talking about her sparring, or Ian sparring this guy that she had a crush on, and she'd like get all giddy as Ian's getting beaten up. That's horrible.
The meeting that
She definitely has a humiliation thing for him. It's definitely a domination thing.
Was at Denny's.
Kosher Grand Slam. Oy vey.
Just like disgusting.
But she loved it because she used to work there back in the day. And I was in my mind, I'm like, Ian, you're a fucking millionaire. Why are you eating at Denny's all the time? Like,
That was her job before OnlyFans.
Also,
He's allegedly, I've heard, Hila noticed this, and I guess Anissa also confirmed that he's very cheap, apparently.
He should.
I mean, I didn't expect.
All right, pot calling the kettle black there, but honestly, if he's very cheap, he should be. Like, that's smart. That's like, I'm gonna stick up for Ian, where, like, you know, being cheap is nothing to, like, be ashamed of. That is a smart thing to do. But clearly she's not, because look at the way Creator Clash 2's money was mismanaged. So that just tells me they still have some money left over, because that's the only reason she'd still be with him, if he still had money.
But Anissa would always want to be trained at the same time, so Michael is training both of them for $100 an hour. And I would always tell Michael, like, you're training both of them. You should charge each one of them $100 an hour. And Michael would be like, oh, well, it's for a charity event, and I feel bad asking, so let's just do this for now, because we're going to get a bonus one
It's
day.
crazy the bait and switch she pulled. She looked halfway decent before the tattoo. She really did. I remember, too, I don't know if you saw the original, like, Discord messages that were leaked of Anissa years ago. This was like 2017, talking about Ian and their relationship. But this was before, like, it was well known how much of a succubus snake bitch she was. And, like, Brittany Venti made a video shitting on her for this. And it was so funny. Brittany Venti, of all people, called Anissa out for, like, whoring and taking advantage of Idubbbz, like, years before everyone else did. Then exposed the screenshots of Anissa talking about how Ian's a loser and he doesn't know how to please a woman. It was something like his room was filthy and she'd shit talk him. I don't remember it. It's not fresh in my brain, but I remember listening to that shit way back in the day.
Yeah. And in boxing, if you do bring two people within that one same hour, you do pay more.
That's not just boxing.
Yeah, thank you. And that's how it should always be. But for them,
like, look at this.
I would, once again, I always wanted the best for Ian. I always wanted the best. I was like, oh, this is why I like.
She legitimately was cute.
For himself, so it was really hard for me to want the best for him when he didn't want.
They actually did not look disgusting there. They looked like a cute couple.
On a train.
Now, do you have any commentary about his potential body odor?
I mean, I say it's true. I smell it all the time. It's horrible. A good example is this, because Michael's so nice and he doesn't want to say it, but here's the thing. When we're in fight camp, he does 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, okay?
For the first fight he did. Well, for the first part of the first fight, not for the actual camp.
Correct.
During the camp was when he
Leave it to a woman to talk about how bad someone smells.
Yes, so he would smell so bad that when he comes back in...
Well, of course she was. And then, see, the thing was, Ian was never a dominant enough man to handle a woman like that. A woman like that, you need to handle with, like, a strong hand, and you need to tell her, shut the fuck up, bitch, and handle her with, like, a firm grasp. And that's something Ian will never be able to do. I don't mean hit her, but if you need to do that to keep her in line, you do that. No, I'm kidding on that part. But, like, you need, as a man, you need to be assertive. You need to be able to say no to someone. And he just was never able to do that to her.
The coaches that are training other, members there would just, like, look at us with the weirdest face, like a stink face. And then Michael would try to take Ian to the corner where there's not...
By the way, I feel like I'm talking a lot more clearly than I was earlier in the stream. I was, like, committing tons and tons of word salad, and I felt so bad. But part of it was I was a lot more tired earlier in the stream, but I've woken up a little bit. But also, I did get hit in the head quite a bit today sparring, so...
Members of the gym, so they don't have to smell it.
I try to take it to the open doorway.
Yeah, so that does happen. I'm not lying. It's true. He doesn't shower. Yeah.
I just didn't understand why she wouldn't tell him. I'm like, what is going on here?
She tells the audience.
That's her Muslim genes kicking in. She's waiting for him to cover her up and throw acid on her and shit.
But she won't talk.
Literally, like... So... Here's the thing. Anissa's not actually Muslim. Yeah, I think I genuinely was punch drunk today. I was thinking about that. I didn't even get hit. Actually, funny enough, I don't even think it was the sparring that did it. I was holding pads for this guy who's like a professional fighter, and he kicks the pads so hard. And he's a big dude. And like, I'm horrible at holding pads, and one of the times I hit myself in the jaw with my hand from like the recoil.
To him about it. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, and
like I didn't
Hold
feel
on,
like it
guys.
was my
I gotta
place.
sit on that for a sec. He stunk up the gym so bad you had to move him away from people.
Yes.
This is crazy that it's coming
Hold on,
out
let me
now
just
that Idubbbz smells this bad.
By Potter, as if like he fucking his breath didn't stink all the time.
I wonder if Ian Smell ever gassed Ethan in person. Why is Ethan sitting in a subway?
Yeah.
Another question.
He's like Jared.
I heard that Anissa was talking shit about me and us even before Creator Clash 1.
Yeah, she had said like I forget what she said.
I believe that.
But she had said that she didn't like associating with you guys for some reason. But then like,
Because it wasn't
you and
popular to
Danny
associate with them at the time.
Have to go on your show. It was it was vague, but because she would talk, she would kind of talk poorly about a lot of different.
It's
people.
kind of crazy
So
too, because I have a feeling like H3H3 is gonna have a resurgence in his career after this shit. I mean, he already seems like he's trending in the right direction, and he's taking on the right people though too. Like he knows what he's doing. He's taking on like Hassan, Idubbbz. It's like people he can win against. Well, he was like the boss back then, and now they're not involved anymore. People are free to talk shit finally. Yeah, exactly. Now you're right. I mean that was a stupid like thing for me to say, but I felt like in general, like I figured like a YouTuber would like pull that out.
That had offended her at one point.
I'm
so
sure.
she thought, yeah, so she felt like you guys weren't like.
Like I don't mean like just them. I mean like someone, like anyone who's met
But she
them.
loved AB and Lena. She always loved them. Yeah.
She would. So here's
There
the
you
thing.
go. Who doesn't love AB and Lena? To be
Yeah.
fair.
Question.
To be fair, right? Who doesn't love AB and Lena?
Yeah, she wanted to get her Lebanese credit, so that's why she like loved so much.
She's trying to get her Lebanese.
Yeah,
credit
she.
up.
By the way, Anissa, do you guys know what percentage Muslim Anissa is? Not Muslim, Middle Eastern. Anissa always talks about how she's Middle Eastern and how she's Lebanese and how she grew up in a Muslim household. She is 8% Lebanese. The rest of her is white. You cannot make this shit up.
She would always, because she would be like,
That's like me claiming I'm African American.
And I was like, everything you do is haram. Like nothing you do is.
Yeah.
I have Muslim fighters.
Yeah.
He's right.
5 times a day.
That's like literally what I'm getting at
Like,
too.
well, a couple of them are from Dagestan, right? And in Dagestan, you're not allowed to shake a woman's hand. Like, but if they
You can't. Habib doesn't. Islam doesn't. If she was actually Muslim, she would not be parading herself around naked on the internet, and she would not be covered in tattoos.
put their hand on. They're very respectful, right? But it's just a totally different mindset. So then when I hear, and I have other Muslim fighters that maybe don't pray 5 times a day, but they still, like, they'll try to eat halal when they can. They have, like, a lot more, they have a different moral compass. So, for example, she would always talk about how America is this horrible place and Americans are, like, so bad, especially, like, white Christian male Americans.
Get out of here, dude.
Oh, and
Why?
yes,
What is her
yeah.
problem?
You know it's bad
But
when
somehow-
Ethan
but somehow
Klein
I'm
is
like,
your
Have you ever
patriot.
been to a Muslim country, Nisa? Like, but and then obviously she hasn't. So to me, it was just like there was this.
I want to
big
see
disconnect
what would
between
happen to
guys. So
Anissa
example,
if she went to somewhere like Afghanistan. I want Anissa to go to Afghanistan dressed the normal way she dresses. Or maybe Iran, Iraq, and see how the locals react.
before the first or second creator clash, she said we have 300 creators in the event. And I said, oh, who are they? And she said, it's mostly communists and sex workers.
Yeah.
And so I was just super confused.
Nice.
Yes.
Those are the people you want associated with your charity event. First off, you know how much communists love money, how much they make money too. So of course they have all the money in the world to donate to charity. And then you got sex workers. So when you have a charity event, it's supposed to be somewhat family friendly at least. And then you have people who make porn for a living associated with it.
Or that it was Twitch streamer. Oh, this is so telling. Publicly, she said it's Twitch streamers and
The funniest shit about Creator Clash 1 is when Anissa kept making a big thing about her dad having Alzheimer's. And that's why, like, the money was going to an Alzheimer's charity. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Sex work.
Boxing and sex work. But
that's what Ian said about
behind
the
the
vibe of
scenes,
Creator
they're
Clash.
saying communist.
I bet Anissa's dad fakes having Alzheimer's so he can forget about her.
And sex workers. Which, by the way, I've been holding on to this image since you mentioned the Getty that they flew the Getty images in. The only one I've seen is this guy. This is Froggy Tonic, and he showed up here. I think he mistook the event for
Froggy never did anything wrong.
for some kind of communist gathering. I mean, what a fucking weirdo.
No, they did
This is the
not.
guy that-
The first one they definitely did. The second one they did not.
Did you guys see him there at the gala?
I didn't see him. No.
I saw him.
Isn't it so insane to wear that outfit and not be seen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Wow,
like
that is
you, you did all that.
Dude, I gotta fart so
I
bad.
too did not remember seeing that person. A friend.
Did
of
you guys
mine
hear
who
it?
was
I
there in the
farted.
corner did not remember seeing that.
Asserting my dominance.
I know if someone wore that around me, I would remember that.
Yes.
So that's
I remember
crazy.
that. My cousin said, "Why does homeboy look like Fidel Castro?" It was my cousin. He's a jackass. He doesn't even probably know who Castro is, but it did make me laugh.
What a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's a horrible person. The Froggy Tonic thing is especially interesting to me because
I told you Harley was there.
Like really
He
violent.
ruined Creator Clash. It was him. He ruined Creator Clash. Couldn't shut the fuck up. He couldn't just shut the fuck up. He had to go and be talking all this
Him and
nonsense for
Frogan.
no reason.
Yeah, that was a good one. Hell yeah.
And look what happened. You
Protein
fucked it up.
farts.
You're right.
You fucked it up. Yep. Because
Yeah,
if you
you're
didn't
right.
say shit, then you wouldn't have the thing and the thing.
This guy was
whatever.
on. I don't know if you guys know the.
All
law.
right.
He was on Twitter saying shit
That
like
sucked.
about how I feed my kids dog shit, and then CPS came and then he kept going on about how. it
By
was
the way, I ate
justified and
like
all this stuff.
300
And
grams of
I don't
protein
know if you
today.
guys know the story, but I was like, dude, why are you friends with this guy? And then that's basically what started the whole thing.
Right. We saw that like all they had to do was help you guys with the CPS call, and they wouldn't. And then
That's so selfish of them.
Turned completely
They really
negative
don't give
on
a
you
fuck
and started
about other
attacking you
people.
Then
guys,
they
and
justified it.
Yeah. And so that was how that was part of why I wanted to do this, was because I was like, you guys actually supported us more than they ever supported us. So I was like, this makes no sense. It didn't make sense why he would attack the biggest of. So I was a part of everything for the first event and a lot of stuff for the second event. And I can tell you, the most fans at those events was your fans.
Yes.
Was your people.
Man, that
That's
place
just
must have
good
smelled
business, right?
fucking
He's like,
crazy.
Let's start a blood feud with the one person who's promoting this event. Like
And he
all
cared
the
about
people there, more than anyone who's there, the announcers, the hosts, the fighters.
I know a blood feud, Ethan. There's one in the Middle East right now. What a perfect frame to stop on.
I promoted that event more than anybody.
Yes, more than
I
he
will
did.
say the way people treated me before and after my fight was crazy. Like the other coaches and stuff who didn't know who I was, once they heard the applause that I got because there were so many H3 fans in the audience, they were like all super nice. Not that they were mean before, but
They
I don't
were
think I'll ever
interested, yeah.
feel that famous again in my life.
Yeah, well, big deal. I don't know if you know this, but we're number 6 on YouTube. Or hopefully, I don't know if that's still true because I keep missing.
I got to be a part of AB's walkout for that first event. It was one of the most ruckus crowds I've ever heard. The craziest thing was like I was at the Seahawks Stadium when they broke the record for the loudest stadium ever, and when AB got back up and dropped Hundar, that was the loudest I've ever heard a crowd in my entire life.
Nice.
It was the craziest thing I ever heard. And when he got dropped, I was like, oh no, like here it's gonna come, like Hundar might finish him. And then instead he dropped him back, and I was just like, this is the craziest event I've ever been a part of in my entire life. Like I was having the time of my life. I was like, this is insane, you know? But it was, a lot of it was because like AB fighting on that card and your crowd.
Yeah.
Harley's
It's
walkout was
kinda-
really
it's just kinda
cool.
sobering to learn that she was, you know, talking shit before even that event, and then they come on and act like we have been friends. And it's funny because I did say a comment about how it's funny how they show up when they need something from me, which is for me to promote their fight.
He said
And
that on the
He got all
podcast.
incredulous about that. He's like, "Oh, really? I don't need anything from you, Ethan." And I'm like, "Well, how's the Creator Clash 3 going?"
Right. Well, and that's what probably like I don't like an ego thing, or it makes no sense to me because once again I was a part.
He should have been on his knees sucking his cock.
Training footage. He would barely ever promote it, and so you would actually be like, "Hey guys."
Anissa would have the video camera.
On it. He's training. Lena's training for this.
Should release the footage later to embarrass him.
Way more than he would.
Also,
He would never put anything
also,
about
I want to say that like after Michael and I came to LA to go on your podcast, right, with Ian and Nisa, I clearly remember that when we came back from that event, I put up the reel of Matt and Ryan, right, working with Michael, and then Ian texted me right away, and he was like, "Hey Kate, just so you know, you shouldn't put out content without comparing with me first, because a lot of YouTubers are actually very sensitive to their image, like
Wow,
me.
I just
And
stubbed
so
my toe,
therefore,
son of a
before you
bitch."
share anything, you need to let me and Anissa's know." And I just thought, okay, so I'm just gonna do a ton of work and not never share.
Like,
it.
who the
Huh?
fuck did he think he was?
That's the thing.
I'm sure, by the way, I am sure that you said you were training. It was footage of you training with Dad.
No, it was Matt and
Super Mega.
Yeah, Super Mega.
I am
Matt and Ryan.
sure that none of those people. He didn't mind doing that.
Oh no.
No, he didn't. He actually accepted the collaboration, and it had 2
Oh,
minutes.
he accepted the collaboration.
Yes.
So it sounds like a win-win, wholesome post.
Yeah.
It should have been. But that was when I realized I was like, he doesn't want me to get any like clout from this event whatsoever. even
That's
though
so
I'm going
bizarre,
to-
though. Like, why would you not want them? I don't know. What a bunch of fucking weirdos. I guess they always need the upper hand in a dynamic, I guess.
But why is that? Why would he call you and seemingly be like, you shouldn't?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm normally the puppet master in this situation, and it's just Nisa. Nisa's controlling the puppet.
Stuff without my permission.
It's just
That had nothing to do with
like,
him, by
so,
the way.
Anissa would always say, because I would want to kind of post some stuff too, and Anissa would be like, "Yeah, Ian's really private. He doesn't want people to see."
Yeah, he's so private.
We were
He's
like,
especially
so I
private about his
respected that. I was
wife.
like, okay, he's a private guy, so he's not gonna.
You
And
know
she
what's
would
funny?
get so
He's
upset.
going to become even more private based on the views on his last video.
Oh!
I'm saying he's gonna be living a real private life soon.
I got a question. I got a question. Just following up. So Froggy Tonic was flown in.
Yeah,
to
what an
film
iconic
Anissa
line.
And just give her the credit of putting on the event and all that. And they still did nothing with that footage or the footage you guys had as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I
that's-
think. What's that?
No, go ahead. Go.
I think that because, like, I think for the first fight, it could have made a great documentary. But I think for the second one, they were scared to put out that Anissa did all this work because it failed so badly. She wasn't even a part of when he did his charity, when he did his charity stream, or not, I won't even call it charity.
I think I've had enough of this for the night, to be quite honest, because there's so much with it. I mean, there's only so much more I can extract from this. I've been watching it for hours now. Fuck. But I guess we'll go to H3 Snark. Let's see if anything's on here about it. Imagine having a whole subreddit about, like, criticizing. Number one, you're already on Reddit. Like, what a fucking loser you are. But number two, a whole Reddit page about the person you hate, criticizing their every move on a podcast. Ethan would have drone struck Ian if he could. That's how he'll fucking beat him in a fight. That was interesting. But wasn't like super entertaining. I wish someone clipped it so I didn't have to shift through all of it. But I did say at the beginning of the stream I was going to give my predictions for 316. I'm only going to talk about the fights I care about because, number one, like, don't really care about a lot of these fights on this card. Like, I'm going to talk about the main card, obviously. So, with women's fights, obviously not going to talk about those. Don't give a fuck. But the first fight I really care about this card is Spivak versus Waldo Cortez. So, I remember watching Cortez's last fight. I was actually in the bathroom at work, and he was fighting Ryan Spann. And Ryan Spann was giving him some trouble. And Ryan Spann's not very good. And Sergey Spivak, I just feel like he's a much higher jump in competition for Waldo Cortez. I believe he's undefeated too. Not Spivak, but Waldo Cortez. So that's going to be a really tough fight for him, and I could see him getting chinned. Cortez I feel like his chin's just kind of out there, and he will be an easy person to finish. Especially because his striking's not that good either. He's just really big, which is kind of how he finishes people. And, like, that's kind of why he's ranked as high as he is. He's big and he's athletic. He's not, like, a fat blob for the blob weight division. Alright, the next fight I care about on this card, we got Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Joshua Van is a fucking sniper. I mean, we see the odds here. Bruno Silva's old. He's 35. I mean, Joshua Van did lose to a 34-year-old last summer in Denver. But I think Joshua Van, that loss helped him improve. Josh Van is probably the most exciting flyweight in the sport. I really believe that. I think he's the best volume striker the UFC has currently. He's so quick. He's young. He's only going to get better. He doesn't have a lot of power, though. And that's the big issue here. But I don't think he knocks out Bruno Silva or anything, but I think he takes him to a brutal decision. He's just so exciting to watch. The way he throws together combos, man, it's something to see. And then for the next fight on the card, we got Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. So I get it. Luque's old. I feel like the odds should be a little bit closer, but I'm still going to pick Kevin Holland for this fight. Kevin Holland at welterweight is probably... He's... I don't know how to put this. Like, he's not like a gatekeeper, because he's not like Neil Magny. But he is... He's not really a contender, but he is a really good welterweight. People forget that. I believe his last fight, I think it was Gunnar Nelson. Hold on, let's look at Kevin Holland. Who did he... Yeah, it was Gunnar Nelson. And Gunnar Nelson was supposed to win that fight. Kevin Holland was yo-yoing around divisions. And Kevin Holland's also just really fucking active, too. But I think Kevin Holland is going to beat Vicente Luque by decision. He's going to come back to form. He's going to come back into the top 15 of the welterweight division. And he's going to probably linger around there for the rest of his career, probably going a little bit higher, but he's never going to make another run for the title or anything. But he should definitely avoid middleweight like the plague. All right, Patchy Mix versus Mario Batista. Everyone's saying Patchy Mix is going to win this fight. But I get it. He was a great champion at Bellator. Mario Batista's good. He's not super good, though. So it makes it a very difficult fight. I mean, we saw what happened in the Aldo fight. I was there in person for that, actually. He just kind of held Aldo against the cage, and then Aldo has not really been doing so hot in his last few fights. Granted, he did get kind of robbed in his last two fights. I personally thought Aldo won the Batista fight, and I thought he won the Zabibi fight, or Zahib fight, whatever his name is. This is going to be a tough fight to predict. I'm going to go against the grain here. I don't like Mario Batista, and I think Patchy Mix should beat him. But I don't know, man. He's coming from Bellator, and when fighters come from different promotions, I just don't feel like 9 times out of 10 it goes well. So I think Mario Batista will win, but it's not going to be like... Mario Batista has no finishing potential. But that being said, if Patchy Mix does win this fight, he's putting out Batista. Either round 1 or 2, he's putting him out early. All right, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. This is a really funny fight. So Joe Pyfer just got fraud checked, I think, his last fight. It was the Jack Hermanson fight. Let me look. When was the last time Joe Pyfer fought? I remember watching when Joe Pyfer lost, and I was like pissed because I bet money on it. Yeah, it was the Hermanson. No, he fought once since the Hermanson fight. But so Kelvin Gastelum isn't very good, especially at this point in his career. He's out of shape. He's tubby. He's short. Joe Pyfer should knock out Kelvin Gastelum. But Kelvin Gastelum's also pretty durable, too. People forget about that. And I'm just going to predict for like the whole main card, every fight goes to decision. That's what makes the most sense for me. Besides the final fight, which I will have a prediction for O'Malley versus Merab in a second, obviously. But yeah, I don't really see a way Kelvin Gastelum wins this fight. Maybe if Kelvin Gastelum brought an actual gun to the ring, and maybe the Los Alitos or something with him, he could win this fight. But I don't see a way that Joe Pyfer loses this, especially at this point in Kelvin Gastelum's career. Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena. The odds for this fight are super skewed. And even though my heart tells me Kayla Harrison, the odds for this make me, as a betting man, kind of want to put money on Juliana Pena. I love Kayla. She's actually my favorite female fighter. But I have seen some holes in her game. Her striking isn't great, obviously. I mean, her base is grappling. But the more I think about it, she should be able to take down Juliana Pena and just fucking destroy her on the ground with elbows. Like, Juliana Pena, like, she looks all pretty here. She's not going to look like that by the end of the fight, if it goes Kayla's way. Kayla should be able to land some vicious ground and pound on Juliana Pena. And I was there for both of their last fights because I was in Salt Lake. And I think Kayla Harrison fought a much better opponent than Pena, even though Pena was fighting for the belt. I think Ketlin Vieira, I mean, we just saw what she did to Macy Chizon last Saturday, and I predicted Ketlin would win that fight because of her performance against Kayla. And that fight wasn't super close or anything, but it was a close fight. Like, Kayla clearly won the fight, but it wasn't like she was dominating like she was against Holly Holm. I wouldn't touch this fight betting unless you're doing Kayla Harrison by decision. But even that is kind of iffy because I feel like Kayla could finish her really any way she wants to. But it's also women's MMA. And she finished Holly Holm by submitting her. Juliana Pena, I think she's only been knocked out once and submitted twice or something like that. I have to go look. But Juliana Pena, we'll look at... I mean, she can be finished. Let's see. Yeah, she's been knocked out once, subbed twice. Like, I mean, if anyone could do it in the women's division, it's Kayla. But more than likely, this fight goes to decision, and Kayla Harrison wins the belt. But I could see a world where a Kayla Harrison is drawn out from a bad weight cut, and Juliana Pena just completely outpoints her, dominates the striking. That's the only way she would dominate anything in this fight. and then say Kayla just struggles with the grappling completely, she gets shut down, and I can see Juliana Pena winning a 3-2 decision, or I can see Juliana Pena. Nah, I don't think she can knock out Kayla. I'm not gonna even go there, but yeah, I'm gonna pick Kayla Harrison for this fight, and it's gonna be by decision. I'm picking the method of victory too. All right, so I got Merab versus Sean O'Malley. I am actually a Merab fan. I like Merab more than Sean O'Malley. Before I make this pick, just so everyone's aware. In my gut, when this fight was first announced, I genuinely believed that Merab was going to wipe the floor with O'Malley. But then I started getting a weird feeling this week, and I don't know what it is, but I do believe Sean O'Malley is going to win this fight. And I'll tell you guys why. So number one, the first fight was a lot closer than people make it out to be. Merab only won 48-47 on the scorecards, which it felt like it was a lot farther apart, but Merab keeps winning these like very razor thin margin of decision victories. And when you have no margin of error against a sniper like Sean O'Malley, that's going to be a big issue for you. I knew Merab was going to win the first fight. I'm not very confident about this fight. Sean O'Malley looks like he's been taking camp way more seriously. He's not even dyeing his hair this time, so he's going to be way less gay for this fight. He's got his pink shorts back. And also the Cheeto Vera fight, Sean O'Malley was a completely different fighter in that fight against Cheeto than he was in the Merab fight. He looked completely quicker against Cheeto. Even from the get-go in the Merab fight, I remember watching O'Malley walk out, and I'm like, dude, he looks pudgy. He looked pudgy and slow. I don't think, because even pudgy, slow O'Malley gave Merab a 48-47 fight. I think O'Malley is going to catch Merab because Merab keeps his chin open. And even in the Umar fight, Umar was completely outstriking Merab until he broke his hand. And Umar's nowhere near the level of striker as O'Malley, but Umar actually has grappling too. So it's a little bit different of a scenario there. But I can see O'Malley also winning a decision here too, but I'm going to go with O'Malley by KO, because if O'Malley does win, it's more than likely by KO. However, I could see him just outpointing Merab, because the judging has been really weird lately too. The judges haven't been judging in favor of fighters who are throwing as many takedowns without doing anything with it, like Merab likes to do. Like, Merab has no finishing ability with his takedowns. He doesn't really progress them. Like, he doesn't attack with ground and pound. And that's, like, his biggest issue. And as a Merab fan who likes Merab for his personality and likes, like, I find him silly and I like the way he bounces around the cage, that is a hole in his game. But yeah, that's really all I have to say on that fight, guys. But I'm going to be betting my money on Sean O'Malley this weekend, even though I do want Merab to win. I have a feeling in my gut, and I even had this feeling in the Bilal fight, and I still bet on Bilal. And I don't really want to bet on this fight because of that, because even if Merab wins, which I feel like that's the logical thing to happen, is Merab just wins in the same fashion he did the last fight. It's not that great of a return. Like, these odds are super skewed. So I'm going to go with the Sugar Show here. It wouldn't be bad. Either way, it's not going to be bad for the division. Hopefully the next contender we get out of bantamweight is Corey Sandhagen. Because, first off, Sandhagen versus Merab, good fight there. Sandhagen's a good grappler. And, honestly, Corey Sandhagen would give Merab a hard time. Because, he's a good grappler. And, like, Corey Sandhagen can do things on the ground. But Sandhagen versus O'Malley would be such a good stylistic fight. Don't you guys think? And how fucking hype would that be for a belt? But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I am ending my stream now. Thank thank you guys for tuning in. We peaked at 21 viewers tonight, which was fucking crazy. I didn't expect that. I'm sorry for being boring at points, but there's only so much you can do with live streaming, and especially when you're watching content that isn't super entertaining. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a good night.